All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Corbin Redhound Football on WCTT T107, broadcasting from Campbell Field here in Corbin, Kentucky. Dave Cox and Burley Foley with you here fieldside. It's senior night here, and there are a bunch of seniors out on the field. We've got the dance team, cheerleaders, band, football players, all out there on the field as we speak. And Burley, they're pretty much covering from the 10-yard line on one end of the field to the 10-yard line on the other end of the field. 90 yards of Redhounds or 80 yards, I guess you could say, of Redhounds, and it's been kind of a festive night thus far. An important football game, though, as well as Corbin trying to go undefeated in the district with Perry County Central visiting here tonight.
It's the biggest game of the year. It's district championships on the line, seating, where you play, a lot of things going on. It's senior night, but, we played. This is the 9th game of the year. And this is the most important one because this will crown you district champion if you can win. 2, it'll determine if you get a home playoff game or not. And then probably the most important thing is you want to be playing your best football that you've played this year right now.
Yes, I can, yeah. Oh, so we're not on yet. Perfect. No worries. Hey, hell, we need to practice, man. We're good. That's my worst. Everybody, welcome to Corbin Redhound Football on WCTT T107. Tonight, broadcasting from Campbell Field in downtown Corbin, Kentucky, for the final game of the district season for the Corbin Redhounds. So taking on Perry County Central tonight. Perry Central comes into the ballgame 3-5 on the year, coached by Mark Dixon. Corbin 5-3, coached by Luke Sammons. Burley, as we talked about off the air a little bit, this is a very important football game. I mean, there's a lot of ramifications tied to this game here tonight. Corbin's going to come in heavily favored, but they cannot afford to spit the bid here tonight because this is a big game.
9 games in, this is the most important one. You become district champion. If you can win, it helps your seeding. If you can win, you want to be playing the best football that you're played all year right now. Although we played a tough schedule, have won 2 other district games, this is the one that you've really got to come out and be aggressive and be fired up for.
Okay, Coach, I think we might have Aliana down on the field. Let's go down to Aliana just for a second. Actually, I take that back. We do not have Aliana. That's my fault. I see her down there, but we do not have her. I thought I heard the somebody's signal coming here. We'll just hang on to it right here, though. She should be getting up with Coach Luke Sammons here just in a few minutes. But, to your point, though, about the playoffs, I think there is so much parity in 4A at the top. Anybody in the top 8 teams win that thing this year, Coach, nobody's going to be too surprised. So the seeding is extremely important, and there's a lot of good games going on tonight. One of the big ones we were looking at earlier tonight, Ashland Paul Blazer at Johnson Central. That's going to determine a lot, too, as far as seeding is concerned, in particular for Corbin, because Corbin rated just below Ashland right now, the new RPI.
It's an impactful game. That game last year went down to the last play of the game, and Johnson Central won that game, which helped Corbin at that point after Corbin defeated Johnson Central last year. But you're correct. This is the game that there's just so much riding on the line all across the state, not just here in Corbin. Now with the new system and RPI, and I'm not a big fan of it, but that's the rules and that's what you go by. But the thing that I like that we're doing right now is we're playing good football. We've played good at Harlan County. We played good against Whitley County last week at home, and I hope we can continue that right now. You need confidence, you need health, and you need to be aggressive this time of year. The weather's changing a little bit. The whole perspective of what everything means has changed a tremendous amount. So with that being said, it's a very, very important game for the Redhounds.
Well, it is, and I'll go back even one game prior to the games you just rattled off there. I thought Corbin played very well against Johnson Central. So they've really been in a pretty good streak here of football, and I think too that when you start off and you have a little bit of a downswing somewhere in the middle of the season, and you start getting that confidence back up, that really helps. Hey, but now we're going to have Ariana down on the field. We'll send it down to Aliana right now. She's with Coach Sammons.
Back-to-back blowout wins. How do you keep your team focused on the task at hand?
Well, every week getting better. Just the mindset of good practices, good week of preparation, just everything it takes to continue to get better throughout the course of the season.
With it being fall break, did the team get to practice on their normal schedule?
It was a little bit different, but it was still a great week. We had plenty of time, great energy, good week of practice.
What's your message to your team before kickoff?
Got to get better. Play hard. You're Corbin. You're playing at home, and it's a great opportunity right in front of you.
Thank you, Coach. Back to you, Dave.
All right, thank you, Aliana. Again, just echoing a lot of the same things, Burley, that you were just saying. Coach Salmons are talking about continuing to get better a little bit every game, a little bit each game. And I think they've done that the last 4 or 5 weeks. And we've talked many times about teams peaking too soon and playing, then kind of coasting through the middle of the year and trying to gear it back up at the end. I think Corbin's been on a pretty gradual uptick here for the last month and a half.
Well, the schedule was brutal early, and your first goal was to get through that and not get beat up too bad and have a lot of injuries. And we've been very fortunate this year. I know Cammy Stepp was bummed up a little bit early, and he was sidelined for just a brief time. And then Malachi Zachary back tonight. His dress is going to play, it looks like. But outside that, we've been relatively healthy all year. Got through that brutal part of the schedule, got into the district, won the first 2 games. If we can win this one, we'll be district champs.
Well, again, taking a quick look at Perry County Central's season thus far, they're 3-5 on the year. Lost their opening game of the year to North Laurel, 21-0. Beaten by Bell County 50-14 at home or at Perry Central. Beat McGoffin County. Lost to Letcher County Central. Beat Paris. Lost to South Laurel 28-7. Beat Whitley pretty handily 42-6. And then last weekend, in what I thought was an upset, lost to Harlan County 23-22. They held a lead most of that game, and then Harlan County at home came back and got them by a point. So, again, kind of an up and down year for Perry County Central as well. First-year head coach Mark Dixon trying to right the ship, but will there be nothing he would like better than to be able to knock off Corbin here on the road tonight?
Well, it's a big game for them, too. Perry County has seen glimpses of playing pretty good football this year, and then they've faltered. Like last week, I didn't expect the Harlan County game to be that close. I picked Harlan County to win. Matter of fact, they were leading early, as you said, in the game, and then Harlan County came back and put them away. They handled Whitley County just like we did, with ease. And we talked about some of Whitley's struggles this year. They're playing Harlan County tonight at home, which will have implications on the seating in the district. But, I know that Coach Salmons' message to the team, we can't go to sleep on anybody. We're still only 11 seniors on this team on senior night. We're starting to become a little bit more of a veteran football team, but we have a lot of sophomores playing. Some freshmen. We saw that with Marlowe playing last week at linebacker for Zachary. So young, but we're starting to be inexperienced. You're young when the season starts, but by the time you get to this point, you're not young anymore. So hopefully we can carry on with what we've been able to do up to this point. Like I say, got out of that brutal early schedule, playing a lot of 6A teams. Not only 6A teams, but the top teams in the state, which I think has helped us get where we're at right now.
Well, they've talking back about Perry Central again. They've rushed for a little over 1,600 yards this year, passed for a little over 700 yards. They would much rather run the football than throw it. Average about 200 yards a game on the ground, about 90 yards through the air. So about a 2-to-1 ratio there as far as running versus passing. I think that kind of plays into Corbin's hands. I feel like Corbin's defensive line has played very well. Of course, Eli Petrosky, Malachi Brown, two really stalwart ends. They move both those kids around quite a bit. Max Farmers played well in there. Malachi Zachary played well before he got injured, and we've seen the Marlowe kid come off the bench. He's played well also.
Josh Goins.
Josh Goins, absolutely. Mahan has played every game. Started linebacker. He's played well in the games as well. So I think that plays into Corbin's hands just a little bit. The teams that worry me from a playing style standpoint are teams that are quick and want to get on the corners and they can outspeed you, the Frederick Douglass type teams, and also teams just come out and throw it everywhere. We've not really ran into one yet that has thrown it particularly well, I wouldn't say, but we did have some trouble with speed at Frederick Douglass. But again, there's a lot of folks in Kentucky going to have trouble with Frederick Douglass.
Well, what happens is if you can play man as we can against Johnson Central, and you can load the box up, you can stop the run. But Frederick Douglass, we weren't able to do that. We had to play some zone. We had to get another back in the secondary. That took a guy off the line of scrimmage. So that made it hard on us. They had a great back. They were a good combination of run-throw. We didn't think the quarterback would have that good of a night against us, but Frederick Douglass is the kind of team that's going to cause us some problems because we can't man up and unload up inside. We got good players inside with Malachi Brown. He just announced this week that he was offered by Alabama. Now Ohio State, Alabama, Tennessee, and Kentucky have offered him. So
You think Kentucky's got a chance?
no, I don't think so. No, I don't. I hope so, but I don't think so.
I would hope so as well. You know, again, back to Perry Central. Parker Maggart's our quarterback. He's a sophomore, Brody, and this is just to kind of underscore the youth of this Perry Central team. He's a sophomore, passed for 644 yards, rushed for a couple hundred yards, but their leading ground gainer, Josh Miller, is a freshman. He's carried the ball 67 times for 440 yards, and so the two key players that you would think, the quarterback and the main running back, are sophomore and a freshman. That probably does not bode well on the road. And you know, after a tough loss last week to Whitley County, you don't know what kind of mindset Perry Central will be in. But honestly, you don't say this disrespectfully, but I think it would be great for Corbin. They could come in and get a running clock again tonight, and just continue to build that confidence. Got a tough game on the road next week. I think it's a sneaky kind of a trap game, if you will, at Great Crossings, and then they head off into playoffs. So I think take care of business tonight, stay healthy, get on the road, and get a win that next week hopefully that would impact the RPI just a little bit, but also build your confidence.
Well, the quarterback being a sophomore and the running back being a freshman kind of explains their inconsistency in the year with Perry Central, because those kids are still learning how to play at this level. It's faster than it was in middle school. It'll be faster as the competition gets better. It's going to be faster tonight. Corbin has some decent speed with E-Step, Lucas Britton, Cole Stevens, and also Akins, yes, who's made some big plays for us this year. So, again, if you're Perry Central, you got nothing to lose. You just lay your ears back and get after us and see what happens. If you're Corbin, you can't play for running clock. You got to play every play, be physical, and work on not making mistakes. That's the biggest thing I've seen this Corbin team improve on. We've really cut down on the mistakes. At Pulaski County, we had some crucial ones, and on and on and on. But as the years went on, they've got better at that and not committing those mistakes and not playing behind the chains now.
Well, I think that to me, you've kind of seen Corbin grow up as the year went along. You made a very good point early in the year, and it's kind of came to my mind every game we played. We're not particularly young, but we were inexperienced. You know, we've got a nice mix of upperclassmen, but those kids hadn't played a lot. We graduated 16 seniors last year that did play a lot. So, you know, that's kind of the way this team went. And I think, and I'm gonna give Luke some credit. I think Luke saw that long before we did, and he did not panic through the and throw up the white flag or change what he believed about this team or what he believes about coaching. Even through the tough schedule there, we continue to work hard and do the same things, and now we're starting to see a little fruit from that. But at any rate, they've got the band assembled out there in their full gear out there in midfield. It's just about time for them playing the national anthem. So we're going to take a break. Then we'll be back. We're going to talk a little bit about all the games going on throughout the state tonight. We got some dandies as all the district play beginning to wind down here in the last couple of weeks of the regular season. So stay with us. You're listening to Red Hunt Football on T107. We'll be right back.
Dispatch. I will be stopping a high-speed, reckless driver en route from Smoky Bear's Barbecue to the Big Corbin ball game.
Officer, proceed with caution. Smoky Bear's is serving up some of the best food in town. They have house-made sauces, rubs, fall-off-the-bone ribs, catfish, and ridiculous salads.
You weren't kidding. This place has folks lined up out the door. Send every unit you can before Smoky Bear's runs out of food.
Attention all units requesting backup at Smoky Bear's Barbecue and Catering on American Greeting Card Road.
Enjoy Smoky Bear's Barbecue 7 days a week for lunch, dinner, and all your catering needs. Dine in, carry out, order online, and DoorDash.
When work needs doing or the trail calls, you need a machine that's ready for both. That's Honda's line of Pioneer side-by-sides. Choose the Compact 520, the powerful 700 series, or go big with the 1000 line. Built for 3, 5, or 6. Visit Tri-County Cycle Sales, 8775 U.S. Highway 25 in Corbin, Kentucky today, and find your perfect Honda Pioneer side-by-side. For your safety, read the owner's manual and wear a helmet and eye protection. Always wear your seatbelt and close the side nets and doors when operating. Honda side-by-sides are for riders 16 and older.
It's Oktoberfest at Sammy's Furniture and Mattress. That's right, folks. Everything in the store $4.99 and up is on sale. How much, you might ask? It's $100 off everything in this entire store that's $4.99 and up. You want one piece, two piece? We don't care. You buy 10 things, you're getting $1,000 off. Folks, that's Sammy's Furniture and Mattress, where the deals are not going to stop this fall. We're open 7 days a week from 10 to 6. That way we're here when you need us. We're even open on Sunday from 12 to 5. We got 12 months same as cash financing if you need it, folks. We even deliver. That's Sammy's Furniture and Mattress. Come see us today.
Ever heard the phrase big enough to serve you, small enough to know you? It's true at Hometown Bank. From the easy-to-use mobile app to online banking and even bill pay, Hometown Bank has everything you need to make banking easier. Whether you need to make a mobile deposit or would rather stop in and see a friendly, smiling face in person, Hometown Bank is here and ready to help. Stop in and find out how easy working with a Hometown Bank can be. Visit the Hometown Bank nearest you. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
One sip of tropical lime-flavored Mountain Dew Baja Blast will turn this into this. Your barbecue into a cabana. And your backyard into an island oasis. With a blast of tropical lime flavor, you can bring the beach vibes with you everywhere. Grab some friends and ice-cold Mountain Dew Baja Blast today. Do the Dew.
Need auto repairs? Then you need Owens Auto Repair. Owens offers a wide variety of parts and services. You'll find all the top name brand batteries and tires to a full line of truck and auto parts. Utility beds, Sherman-Williams auto paint, weather guard toolboxes, custom-made hydraulic hoses, and yes, service work for cars, trucks, and RVs. Whether it's auto repairs or just a battery or new tires, Owens Auto Repair has you covered. Owens Auto Repair, serving you for more than half a century. Located just down from Corbin High School on Cumberland Falls Highway in Corbin.
Are you looking for reliable electrical supplies? Look no further than Eubanks Electrical Supply. From light bulbs to circuit breakers, we've got everything you need to power up your projects. Our expert staff is ready to help you find the right tools and materials to complete your project. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast or a professional contractor, Eubanks Electrical Supply has you covered with top brands and friendly service. Stop by today in Corbin, Kentucky at 701 South Main Street or in Somerset, Kentucky at 1030 West Columbia Street and discover why Eubanks Electrical Supply has been the trusted name in electrical supply for over 60 years.
Hey, remind me to take that green. Okay, James, we'll take it back whenever you're ready for us to have it, buddy. Yes, sir. All right, back at Campbell Field, Dave Cox and Burley Foley with you here at Fieldside. I have said it for 8 consecutive weeks in a row, so I'm going to go ahead and say it for the 9th consecutive week, Burley. A beautiful night for football. Weather is outstanding. And again, I don't remember this long of a stretch of having basically the whole regular season with perfect football weather.
It has been, so look out come playoffs. We may get some monsoons, but it's been terrific. Again, a little chilly tonight on the outside. We're in this nice warm booth here that yourself and the Board of Education provided us. What a great facility and a great place to broadcast a football game from. A little bit of a sparse crowd. It's still fall break, and a lot of people are out doing that. Some Halloween stuff going on, but we do have a listener up in Cleveland, Ohio, and when you talk about weather, you can't say Cleveland without mentioning weather. But Mark Copper's up there listening to us. Mark, an outstanding football player in the Ohio area, which is, a mecca for good football players. Had a shortened season; they had to stop it for the Civil War, and he continued on after that and went on and finished his year up. So
I met Mark, and I'm glad to hear that he's a great football player because he was an average golfer, just like the rest, just like the rest of us. But no, he was a good golfer actually. But I have met Mark, and that's a good crew that you run with up there. We're certainly glad that he's listening in, and we hope that he's relaxing with his favorite beverage and enjoying a good ball game. He's a nice guy and does a good job with all your all's activities. I know that you guys do a gathering each year, and I know he's a big part of that.
He is. He's just a wonderful fella, and we're glad to have him tuned in. He tried to get tuned in a couple other times, and he said it cost him $20. And I told him to be able to listen to us is probably worth, his other 10 that he put in. That made it 30 to 9.
Well, here's the thing. That, his lack of technical ability has nothing to do with us.
That's right.
That's
on him.
There's some people it takes three times to figure things out. So so I don't know Mark well enough to know for sure, but I'll spend a lot of money trying.
You're pretty accurate.
I'll spend a lot of money trying to get things to work the first time, and when usually you take it apart, put it back together, or put new batteries in, it generally helps. But at any rate, we're glad Mark's listening, and we're glad all of our listeners are. We've had a great run of weather here though, and the crowds have been outstanding. Tonight it is a little bit down. Expected it would be the closing weekend of fall break in the Corbin schools, as well as a lot of other stuff going on. So, and again, quite frankly, not what you would call a marquee game. Corbin probably comes into this game, if there were a line in this game, I would say the line would be 35 or more. But Perry Central has played good football in spurts this year. We thought that at least you and I did, that they would probably handle Harlan very well last week and did not. Harlan County came back and won. I would suspect that Harlan got their quarterback back in the game, which made that, or back on the active roster, which made that a much more competitive game.
Well, he was their offense, the quarterback for Harlan County. We looked at his numbers, and it was just tremendous numbers for a kid, and he did get a play against Corbin, and I'm satisfied that he probably played last week. I don't know that for sure, but Perry County coached by Mark Dixon. Mark was at Hazard at one time. Mark's a really, really good football coach, had some good teams at Hazard. Again, playing a lot of young kids, new to Perry Central, but he'll get things going there because he's a good coach.
I'd like to remind, while we got just a minute here, remind all the folks of our Saturday morning sports show. We go on every morning at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning right here on T107. We start the show off with Coach Luke Sams. We'll talk to him about 20-25 minutes or so, and then after that we recap all of the action from across the Commonwealth and catch everybody up on playoff scenarios, that type of thing. Also, we get an occasional special guest in the studio. We're going to have a special guest. I had Tackett Wilson last week, AD from Corbin Burley. He did a really good job, and I've got a lot of nice comments at Tackett, very informative. This week we've got Tim Barnes, president of Hometown Bank, is going to be joining us. Tim, a former football player at Center College, certainly a Red Hound fan extraordinaire. Had 2 sons that were Red Hounds, so we look forward to talking to Tim in the morning.
Tim, he's been a community supporter here for a long time. They have built just a wonderful, successful bank here in town. So looking forward to having Tim in the studios. One other thing, too, Dave, if you don't mind, it's senior night. And
it is.
We don't have the cheerleaders and the band members and the dance team, but we would like to mention our seniors, Cam Estep, Lucas Britton, a couple guys that's had great careers here. Eli Petrowski playing his best football of the year. Cole Stevens, our leading rusher, Braxton Simon, another long line of Corbin football players. Gino, Mike, Julio. You just go on and on with that family. I couldn't name them all, but there's a bunch of them. Max Farmer, he's a senior. Tyson Blaylock, also Gavin Hinkle, one of our starters up front. Gavin was playing center. He's moved over to play offensive guard now. Miles Marlowe made some good hits, a couple really nice hits. Jacob White, also a senior, and Seth Jones. He's been a 2-year starter. So, had a really good group of seniors. Not a lot of them, but quality football players.
Well, absolutely. They represented the school very, very well. When you go to a Corbin game, you expect a couple things. You expect kids to play hard and to act right. The third thing that generally follows that is they're going to play good football and win. But these kids have done all of those things and certainly deserve all the good things coming their way and all the good things being said about them here tonight. Corbin's going to get the kickoff, and I think the Hounds won the toss actually and opted to get the football instead of deferring to the second half. So, but again, senior night's always a bit bittersweet. A lot of folks out there, we apologize for not having all of the seniors with us. We should have gotten that before we got up here, but running just a touch behind here this evening. And the Hounds are taking the field. Cannon goes off. Lights are flashing. Red Hounds dressed out tonight in their gray uniforms, trimmed up in red and white striping, silver headgear, and Perry County Central black pants, white jerseys, red numbers, and white headgear. So colorful scene here from the banks of Camp Creek, Coach, and been doing this over here at this location for many, many years.
It's historic. I mean, this place just has so much history and so many great football players that played here from both teams. You talk about Roger Bird, Calvin Bird, the Bird, Steve Bird, and you go on through modern history. You talk about Alan Onks. You could just go on and on with names throughout Corbin football. And then on the other side, Frank Jacobs played on this field. If I'm not mistaken, I think Sherman Lewis played here.
I think Tony Driver played here.
Tony Driver. So it's always been a historic place for football games. Again, it's on Friday night. It's typically the biggest show in town. But it's also now with the kids field down there. I don't know if you saw it from the Spirit line, but
I did.
They were headed out. That may be the best side I've seen tonight.
Yeah, it was. They get involved. They get at any given time down there in the kids field. Of course, it's turf. If you've never been over here and took a look at it, it really is nice. It's 45 yards of about 30 of turf, and there's at any given time 6 different games going on at the same time, and not all going in the same direction. Some are horizontal, some are vertical, some are diagonal, but they all know which game they're in, and it's a place where I think I've heard other Red Hounds say they grew up down there,
Yeah.
one way or the other.
Yeah, you grow up pretty quick down there.
Perry Central set to kick it away. Back deep for Corbin is Cole Stevens. Not too deep, standing about their own 25-yard line. Short onside, kind of a kick. Takes a short bounce, taken by an up back at the 40. Started up to the right sideline, over the 50-yard line, down to the 50 or the 45. Going to be hit and knocked down inside Perry County territory all the way down to the 42. Did not pick up the number, and then
Clay Aiken.
It was Clay Aikens. Okay, I was going to say it's pretty. Whoever that was, pretty good runner. No wonder it was Clay. He's a pretty good runner.
That's a bad guy to short kick it too. He's just as capable of being the guy back deep as he is up close. Clay's made some big plays for Corbin all year long, and he'll be starting in there, one of the linebackers.
If I'm Coach Sammons, I said that's just good coaching. I had him right where we wanted him. Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Corbin's going to open up 2 wideouts to either side. Ball on the right hash mark. Sammons in the shotgun. Stevens back there with him. Rides Stevens up into the hole. They hammer him. He loses the football, and Perry County's got the fumble. That was an absolute bullet shot that time as they stuck Cole. About the time he got the football, he coughed it up, and Perry Central gets the first turnover of the game.
Well, that was coaching on behalf of Perry Central. They've seen that play, and when Mason started riding Cole up in there, the linebacker came downhill and made sure that he was going to tackle the back and did so very well.
Well, he came untouched too. Had Cole been able to hold on to the football, and I'm not sure that Gale Sayers could have held on to that football, but had he been able to, he was going to go for a loss of about 3 yards. He was hit about the time he got the ball. So Corbin's defense will be tested here early, giving up the ball on their on the 46-yard line of Perry Central. Busted play, the quarterback's in some trouble. He's going to be hit and dropped all the way back at the 39-yard line. Turned to hand it off, and nobody was home, so he spun out of there and was hammered back for a loss of about 6 on the play.
Petrosky and Big Max Farmer, a couple of the seniors, both of them playing defensive end. Down inside, Tyson Blaylock's getting the start along with Josh Goins.
Quarterback is Parker Maggard. 2 running backs, Josh Miller and Keegan Cecil, set in behind him. Wideouts are Caden Haddix, and Tyler Robinson. 3 backs this time set in behind the quarterback. Maggard takes the leads with the first back through, hit and stacked up. Not much running room at all. I believe that was Miller for a short gain out over the 40, maybe the 41 is going to bring up 3rd down and long.
Corbin's starting tonight in a very odd-looking defense. They've got a 5 front and then 4 linebackers across and only 2 defensive backs. So they don't anticipate that Perry Central is able to throw the ball very well. When they get set here, if you look at this, it's a look I've not seen before.
Yeah, Maggard's thrown for about 600 yards. In 8 games, that's not terrible. Thrown for about averaging about 85 yards a game. Back to throw. He's in some trouble, though. Maggard's going to be hit and swarmed. He had no time at all. That may be what Corbin's banking on, is they cannot keep the Big Red Hounds from collapsing the pocket, and they did. That was Petrosky and Malachi Brown that just crashed in from both sides.
Yeah, he was on the retreat, couldn't even get his feet set. I think that has a lot to do with the set we're in defensively.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. So I believe it's Fugit into Griffith into to kick it away. It's a low line drive punt. Hits at the 50, takes a Perry Central bounce down into Corbin territory at about the 44-yard line where the Red Hounds, they're going to make the 46, where the Hounds will take over first 10 and 10. So the early turnover, Burley, did not hurt them. It looks like Corbin's going to be, at least on the defensive side, be able to handle the Perry Central kids on the line. But I'll tell you, the first defensive play, nobody blocked that kid that took Cole out.
It just looked like a mismatch for us defensively, yeah. And when we fumbled the ball, they had that sniffed out pretty good. They've seen that, and they came after us hard.
Hey, just the eye test. They're bigger across the front than we are. Salmon's in the shotgun, looks to throw, dumps it down the left side to Estep in the flat. He lowers his head, fights out over the 50, still on his feet, into Perry Central territory down to the 46-yard line. Gain that time of, it looks like about close to 10. They're going to mark him just about 1.5 yards shy of the first down. Corbin right back at the line, ready to go again here. Sammons takes a snap, hurry up offense, hand it off Stevens. Got some running room straight up the middle line. Knocked down, I should say, at about the 40-yard line. Gain of 8, enough for the first down. And that will move the chains. And Corbin hurriedly back at the line of scrimmage. This is not the same hurry kind of offense. They're actually sprinting between plays right now, Coach.
Yeah, they're trying to play fast, make Perry.
Sammons in the shotgun. Stevens to his left. Back to throws comes Sammons. Dumps it off. They got the screen set up to Stevens. Shakes a tackler at the 40-yard line. Starts up the left sideline. Gain of about 5 before he's hit and dropped at about the 36-yard line. We'll bring up 2nd and 5 for Corbin. No score as of yet. Corbin fumbled on the first opportunity, the first play of the game, actually. Perry Central 3 and out, and the Hounds on a drive right now, 2nd and 5 from the Perry County Central 35-yard line. Here's a little handoff to Estep on a jet sweep. Lowers his head, runs into some traffic at the 30, pushes the pile down to about the 29-yard line. Another gain of 6, which will move the chains for Corbin.
Up front for Corbin, Seth Jones. Also looks like Max Farmer in at one of the tackles. Gavin Hinkle, he's played up front all year, and also Miles
Handoff left side Stevens. He's going to be hit and dropped after a short gain. Give him about 3. We'll bring up 2nd down and 7.
Miles Marlowe was what I was trying to say.
Excuse me, Coach. Corbin operating out of that same set that they operated out of all game last week. I don't know that they changed the offensive set the entire game. 2 wideouts to each side, 1 back in the backfield with Mason Salmons working out the shotgun. Just very vanilla. Mason takes the snap, looks to throws, got all day, dumps it off on the right side. He's got a receiver after that's Akins, makes one guy miss, and is going to be stacked up at about the 20-yard line. I think his forward progress will be marked there. Gain of 6, what's going to be maybe 1 yard, 1.5 yards shy of the first down, I believe.
Well, Corbin's trying to spread them out. They got 2 receivers each side and only 1 back. And what the philosophy with that is if we can get them in one-on-one situations and get the ball to Cole running at some, he can make a cut. But didn't happen very good the first play.
Handoff left side this time. Stevens into the secondary. Makes one guy miss at the 10. Cuts it back. He's going to be taken down all the way down at the 1-yard line. Good run that time. Boy, made a nice sidestep at about the 10-yard line where lift the kid right into his tracks.
Well, that's exactly what we want to do. We want to spread them. We want to try to take advantage of our size and let Cole make those good cuts that he can make.
He ran right in behind but Eli Petrosky that time. Eli switches over to the right side this time. So 2 wideouts to one side. One player in the slot. That's 27. That is Stevens there as well, and Petrosky at the tight end side, cut to the right. Now they get Thomas back on the field. He's wide to the right also. Handoff straight up the gut. Stevens again lowers his head, pushes the ball into the end zone. Touchdown, Corbin.
Well, the cannon must not have made it.
No, we were looking. It was here. They fired at the beginning of the game.
That or he went to sleep.
Well, maybe they only had one shot.
Yeah, might have. Said it's too cold.
Yeah. Witherington on to attempt the extra point. Sebastian Witherington only missed 4 extra points all year long. I think he's I was at 28 of 32, something like that. But he's really kicking it well. Steps into this one, drives it long and strong right down the middle, right into the middle of the kids' field down there. Corbin on top early, 7-0, 6:50 to go in the first quarter. We'll take a break, then be back to Campbell Field. Stick around. You're listening to Red Hound Football on T107.
Dispatch. I will be stopping a high-speed, reckless driver headed from Smoky Bear's Barbecue over to the big Corbin football game.
Officer, proceed with caution. Smoky Bears is serving up some of the best food in town. They have house-made sauces, rubs, fall-off-the-bone ribs, the best burgers you can find, and ridiculous salads.
You aren't kidding. This place has folks lined up out the door. Send every unit you can before Smoky Bears runs out of food.
Attention all units requesting backup at Smoky Bears Barbecue and Catering on American Greeting Card Road.
Enjoy Smoky Bears Barbecue 7 days a week for lunch, dinner, and all your catering needs. Dine in, carry out, order online, and DoorDash.
Back at Campbell Field, 7-0, Corbin on top, 6:50 to go here in the first quarter. Dave Cox and Burley Foley with you here. Coach, once we held on the football, pretty impressive drive. Did pretty much what we thought we would do, but just Corbin just manhandling them on both sides of the line.
Well, it looks like that's our game philosophy. Spread them and take advantage of our size. And they brought Eli in there as an H-back and got an extra blocker and did a good job getting Cole in the end zone. We're going to be pretty vanilla in a heavily favored game. I'm anxious to see if we stay with that or we change up.
I'm interested to see next week. If this game goes the way we think it might, here's the kickoff down the left side, fumble by the up-back, picks it up at the 10-yard line. He's going to be in trouble, track down all the way back at the 12-yard line. Nice coverage that time. That's Akins again. He's all over the place. That kid can play football.
He's a hustler. He makes plays on offense, special teams. And, special teams was something we talked to Coach Sammons about in one of our Saturday shows that they had some hiccups on special teams, and they've really cleaned that up nicely.
Is Akins a junior?
Akins is a junior.
I thought he was, yeah.
Linebackers, Tatum Cox. Also in there is Silas Mahan. He's been there. Malachi Zachary, who's been injured, is in the game for the first time.
Quarterback Maggard leaves it off with the first back through. I believe that is Miller, Josh Miller, 33. He's just a freshman. He's stacked up after a short game, maybe out to that may give him the 15-yard line.
Trey Persons, also that other backer on the left side. I'll tell you the biggest thing I see about our defense that's changed. Our linebackers are starting to really play downhill. Early on in the year, we were trying to catch a little bit, and we're waiting, letting them get on us. Now we're attacking the ball. Now, competition has a little bit to do that, but coaching's had a lot to do with it too. And I really see a lot of big improvement for Corbin.
Second down and 9 for Perry Central. Maggard under center. 3 backs behind him. They give it the second back through. He's going to be hitting stacked up, nowhere to go. Piled up again there. I'm not sure if that was Miller or Cecil, but they covered him up before I could get to his number. That's going to be Cecil, I believe. Loss of maybe 1.5 yards, maybe 2 on the play. Should bring up third down at about 11.
Yeah, we're just physically too big for him up front. Luke Hatfield now in playing one of the ends. And when he comes in and plays that end, they move Eli down inside, and that gives you Eli and Petrosky inside, and then Malachi Brown and Hatfield over here outside. That's a pretty good defensive line. That's a lot of quickness and some strength.
It is, and that's it. And the Goins kid is an anchor in the middle. He's just a rock. He requires a double team almost on every play. 3rd and 11, Maggard drops back into the shotgun looking to throw. Steps up in the pocket, fires long off the right side, nearly picked off. Nice defensive play. Good break on the football over there by the Corbin defensive back. Was that Person?
Trey Persons. Yeah, he's that outside linebacker, and they ran about a 12-yard out trying to pick up the first down. Trey played that exactly how you're supposed to. He stayed with his guy and then broke on the football and got his hand in there and just knocked it away.
E-Step is set to return the punt of Griffith. E-Step standing inside Perry County Central territory at about the 49-yard line. A short kick. It's a knuckleball. Is going to hit and bounce sideways out of bounds right into the Perry Central bench at about the 42-yard line. So not a great punt, but they did get them out of the shadow of their own goal line. The Corbin will take over once again with great field position. 5:07 to go in the first quarter. 7-0 lead for the Hounds.
Lineman playing front for us tonight is also Braxton Tolliver. I didn't get him in the first round. Braxton's played a lot at one of the tackles.
I like the gray-on-gray look. They've used that one other time this year. This is kind of a different look for Corbin. It really looks good, that silver headgear, though. 2 wide outs to the right, 2 to the left also. Hand off to Person. He's going to try to get around the left corner, makes a cut up at the line of scrimmage. He's into the secondary. He may go. He's blistered down the left sideline. Well, he turned on the afterburners. Touchdown, Corbin. Person hit a second gear, Birdie, there about the 30-yard line and just ran off and left everybody, including his blockers.
To me, it looks like we got a flag, but still, yeah, the play was great. Trey, I think, is probably our fastest guy, or he appears to be, but he's got some speed. He got outside, got his shoulder square, and I think we're going as we continue here. I think we're going to see a little more of Trey.
Yeah, the hold's going to go against Corbin. I did not see the flag. It was thrown over in front of the Corbin bench. That play went away from us towards the Corbin bench to the short side of the field. And Person just I said he outran everybody, including his blockers, but that will push the football back to about the 46-yard line, which was the original line of scrimmage. Now they're going to mark it off again. They're going to have some arithmetic issues here with the officials right now. He marked. So they're going to say 1st and 15, so not horrible. So what that tells you is the penalty occurred well beyond the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, don't count on me to correct that math, okay?
Yeah, well, I'm not either. I just knew they hadn't went far enough to begin with. But 2 backs with Salmons in the backfield, handoff left side. Stevens breaks into secondary. He's gone down the left sideline, I believe. One man has a chance at him. They do bump him out of bounds down about the 11-yard line. Well, I'll tell you what, that was another just well blocked play, Coach. And Stevens didn't get touched until he was 15 yards down the field.
Well, they're so focused on our size inside. We're trying to get right outside that offensive tackle, and there's a pretty good space there, especially when you split out these guys you got to cover. It puts you in a one-on-one situation.
Salmons takes it, leaves it off with Stevens again. That's Persons, gets up into the hole, reverses the field, sidesteps a defender at the 5-yard line, left him frozen in his tracks, and Persons into the end zone. A beautiful run. You may not see a more gifted 11-yard run the rest of this year. That was a great run by Persons. He ran into a clot of people at the line of scrimmage, broke a tackle there, went out to the left, sidestepped the tackler, and got into the end zone.
Yeah, he scored twice on that drive. He
only got
one of them, but he scored twice.
Yeah.
It was an outstanding run by the junior. I look for him to really start to come on here and be used in the playoffs a little more.
He just looks so much quicker, Burley, than he did early in the year, to me. Now, they're just running with confidence. Witherington's extra point, he is going to be blocked. They slapped that one down at the line of scrimmage. I don't know if that was that was Witherington's fault. I think that was just a failure somewhere up front because there was a defender in his face when he let it go. But at any rate, Corbin extends their lead 13-0. Hounds on top, 4:27 to go. We'll be right back. You're listening to Red Hound Football on T107.
Need auto repairs? Then you need Owens Auto Repair. Owens offers a wide variety of parts and services. You'll find all the top name brand batteries and tires to a full line of truck and auto parts. Utility beds, Sherman-Williams auto paint, weather guard toolboxes, custom-made hydraulic hoses, and yes, service work for cars, trucks, and RVs. Whether it's auto repairs or just a battery or new tires, Owens Auto Repair has you covered. Owens Auto Repair, serving you for more than half a century. Located just down from Corbin High School on Cumberland Falls Highway in Corbin.
All right, back at Campbell Field, Dave Cox and Burley Foley with you here. 4:27 to go in the first quarter. Corbin on top, 13-0. Coach, pretty much what you thought?
Yeah, I didn't feel like that they'd be able to challenge us. We're just too big and strong up front, especially after they struggled at Harlan County last week. But still a lot of game to go. Does concern me that we missed had a miscue or two on our extra points. We had a little trouble last week. Our special teams have gotten a lot better, but that's something we got to keep clean up a little bit.
Witherington steps into this one, line drive right into the hands of an up back there at the 30-yard line for Perry County Central. He lost it off of his shoulder pads, but fell on it about 4 yards up the field, so they will take over. Perry Central, that is, 1st and 10 from their 34.
He would have took a pretty good shortstop to field that one. That thing was hit on the line. It didn't get 6 inches off the ground.
Yeah, I think he was trying to kick that one deep, Coach. I really do. I
think he just missed it.
Might have missed it a little bit, and
it was a good miss.
Yeah, it was a good miss. A tough ball to handle. 1st and 10 for Perry County. Working from their own now. Back it up a yard. Let's call it 33. Maggard, the quarterback. Back set in and eye behind him. Second back through, takes a handoff, trying to get around the left corner. He's going to be hit and cut down. Nice open field tackle that time by Estep. He came up from his safety position and took the legs out from under the Perry County ball handler. That was 33, Miller. Their leading runner on the year. He's just a sophomore, but short gainer that time of about 3 maybe.
Yeah, we got down inside a little bit, and Cam bailed us out because they had got the corner, but from his free safety. Cam does a good job open field tackling. He doesn't try to get them up in the mouth, and know when they're he knows exactly where to get to get them on the ground.
Takes their legs up. Going to play baseball at Eastern Kentucky University. Pitch out right side Miller again. He's in some trouble. Going to be hit in the backfield and manages to get back to the 35, which will be a loss of only 1. But he was hit deep, and there comes a flag down on top of the play. Not sure what that one was all about. More than likely, unsportsmanlike on somebody. I see both teams pointing at one another. Just about has to be against Corbin, you would think.
Yeah, that's the one thing in a game like this you don't want to do is you don't want to start making mistakes because mistakes are habits. Even in my personal life, a lot of mistakes I make are just because I got bad habits. You got to have good habits on the field, and they're replacing somebody right now. I'm not sure if that's who's on or not, but again, you don't want to have those things happen.
There's a fine line between playing excited and playing with enthusiasm and playing foolish. And we played foolish a few times this year. That play was stopped for no gain. We're getting the ball back after one more play, and then you're moving 15 yards down the field. That's not something that Coach Samuels will put up with, I don't think. Back to passes Maggard. Here comes the rush. He's in some trouble. Shakes loose, runs to his right, fires long down the right sideline. Just threw that one away. Could easily have been. He's out of the tackle box, so it's probably not going to be intentional grounding, but he had nobody in the area. Just threw it into the cheerleaders over there.
Well, it's a good thing that we did have a rush because they had a receiver that was behind everybody. And we forced him out to the right, and he just didn't pick him up. But we came hard on the rush in the secondary, and the receiver just ran right by us.
Yeah, he was to the left, running towards what would be our left corner of the end zone, and they chased the quarterback the other direction. So 2nd down and 10 now. 3:25 to go. Clock stopped here in the first quarter of play. Corbin on top 13-0. Been a little bit ragged to start the game. Corbin fumbled on the first play of the game. Came back, scored 2 quick touchdowns, but some ill-advised penalties up to this point. Pitch out left side to Miller, the big fullback. He's hit and stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. It's a big kid. He's a sophomore, Bartley. He's going to be tackled at the 47. Loss of 3 on the play, but he runs straight up, and he's at that big 33. There's a nice target, and they piled him up a couple times. And there's another exchange of pleasantries there. This game getting a little chippy early.
Well, you can run straight up for a while, but eventually you'll learn to get down because you won't last long. And I don't care how big you are, you can't run straight up and down because you can't take that kind of punishment. And Corbin, I tell you what, I'm really impressed with the regression. We just seem like we're more aggressive right now than we've been.
We look quicker. As a team, we look quicker. And I do believe you played much quicker when you're more confident. And I think this is just a more confident football team. Maggard back to throw. Fires off the left side. He's got a receiver out there. Nice catch that time all the way out to the 45-yard line. It's going to be short of the first down, but a leaping catch over there by the wide receiver. That's number 7, and I can't pick him up on my roster. I did not have him listed. I tell you, these rosters from the KHSAA are hard to read.
Lucas Britton, another one of our seniors in on
Yeah, Lucas right on top of that play.
He was. It was good. He was in that. I'll bend a little, but I'm not going to break. Lucas, a very smart player.
Yeah, 4th down and about 6 now for Perry Central. They will go for it here inside Corbin territory. Maggard back to throw, throws it off the right side. He's got a receiver right there, and that's going to be caught by Miller. He will be close to the first down. I think they're going to give him forward progress to move the chains. A nice pattern that time by the big fullback out of the backfield, and he made a nice catch, tackled immediately, but it was just enough for the first down.
Well, if we stay in that set we're in, the out's going to be there every time. They're going to run the defensive back off. We've got 5 on the line, and they'll be able to throw it to the out. So we'll have to make an adjustment on that.
Well, let's see what happens here as Perry Central right back to the line quickly. 1st and 10 working from the Corbin 39. Hounds on top 13-0. We got a flag down as this play barely gets underway. It's going to be a legal procedure against Perry Central, so that will back them up 5 yards.
We'll try to get some other scores to you. Some big games going on today. North-South tonight. That's going to be a war just north of us. Also, Knox Central Rock. That's kind of an interesting game. Knox Central playing a little bit better now than they were. They had a little stretch of bad luck there, but they're playing a lot better. Pulaski County and Pulaski County Southwest. Big rival game over in Somerset. Bryan Station and Frederick Douglass. Also, 2 opponents we had this year. And then Harlan County, Whitley County, a district matchup.
Maggard working out of the shotgun, back to throw again. Here comes the blitz. He doesn't see it coming. Bang! He is knocked down all the way back to 45. That was Thomas coming off the right side. No, Malachi Zachary Burley.
Welcome back, Malachi.
Yeah.
He came like a rocket from the outside.
It's one of those things where you're getting ready to see something bad happen. You just kind of cringe because this kid had his back to him, and you knew that was just going to be a big collision, and Zachary drilled him.
The only guy I didn't see it was a quarterback, and like you say, he came from his blind side. It was a great call by the Corbin coaching staff because Perry Central was trying to start to pick up some receivers in the flat, so they said, we'll just bring somebody off the corner and try to get to you before you're able to throw it.
Would you do me a favor, Barley? Would you look at your roster and see who number 7 is for Perry? I know you've got that one over there. Maggard back to throw again. Fires long down the middle of the field. Incomplete. Overthrew his intended receiver, number 7 out there. And again, I don't have his number. He appears to be their receiver of choice most of the time. They've thrown to him 4 times in this game, but I can't find him on my roster.
I'm not locating him either, but I'm going to keep looking.
I appreciate it. If we can get that information, I'd appreciate it. I don't have another roster over here. We'll try to get that name to you because they're clearly going to throw it to him when they throw it most of the time.
Yeah, I got him. Okay. Aaron Johnson.
Aaron Johnson. Okay. Well, Aaron Johnson's been busy thus far. He's caught 2 and missed and had 2 overthrown. That one intended for him as well. 3rd down and 24. 57 seconds to go in the first quarter. Back to throws Maggard again long. Throws it long down the right sidelines. Up for grabs. Going to be intercepted back there by Corbin, I believe. Big celebration going on over there by the Corbin bench. So it looks as if the Hounds have picked that one off. Was it E-Step?
Trey Persons.
Persons, okay. Somebody went up high above the crowd and jerked it down. That was Persons. So Corbin returns the turnover back to Perry Central. It's 1 apiece now, and it'll be red down football.
That was played really, really well by Trey. It looked like he was open because the underneath defensive back had to take the out pattern, but Trey did exactly what you're taught to do. He had run deeper than the receiver and did a good job staying up off of him.
You know, Maggard showed a little bit of arm on that one too, Coach. He was being heavily pressured, fired that thing from about the 35-yard line all the way down to our 20. Pretty good little toss that time.
Well, they're going to have to start throwing the ball a little bit because they're not going to be able to run on our front.
Corbin football 1st and 10, working from their own 27.
Flag
before we even get set.
The guy back here threw it, so typically that's a delay of game.
Yeah.
Well, that's a quick delay of game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, normally they must have reset that play clock as soon as the interception occurred because that was it didn't feel like it was getting late. You call so many of these plays, you kind of get a feeling when it's getting close. But Salmon's back to throw. Pump fakes, looks, fires long down the left sideline. He's got somebody out there. Oh, just barely overthrown, intended out there for the Corbin receiver who was that E-Step?
E-Step.
Yeah, overthrown about maybe a yard or 2 at the 40-yard line. He was behind his man.
Yeah, he did a good job. He got him on the pump fake, and Mason, as you can see, has a strong arm. I mean, he turned that thing loose, and Cam almost ran it down.
But the one thing I've seen with Mason, there's been 4 or 5 times this year just a little bit more air under the ball, and because he's got such a cannon, I'm telling you, the kid's got a rocket, and just a little bit more air under it, and he would have had probably 4 more touchdown passes. E-step ran a nice pattern, got open that time. 2nd and 15 for Corbin. E-steps, they're going to run the option. This time the pitch from Sammons gets it out to the running back. Boy, nice move that time by Stevens. He gets out near the first down as he shook a tackler off after taking the pitch. And they're going to move the chains. Yeah, they are. So a gain of about 17 there for Stevens.
I'll give Perry County credit. They down 13-0 in the first quarter, but they're still trying to lay the wood to them. Cole took a pretty tough shot.
Yes, he did. Cole took he took the shot of the game on the first play of the game. He's going to be sore tomorrow, but Corbin's got a first down working from their 34 now. Sam is in the gun, dumps it off left side. He's got a receiver out there in the flat, out over the 45, 47, maybe 48-yard line before they finally get him down out there. Still trying to pick up the number. Was that Akins?
E-step.
E-step.
Yep.
Okay. E-step and Akins are on that far side, lined up in front of the Corbin bench. So now they switch sides this time. Akins and Thomas to the right, and E-step that left side. That will bring to a close the first quarter of play. Corbin on top 13-0 after one. We'll take a break, then be back to Campbell Field. Stay with us. You're listening to Red Hound Football on T107.
One sip of tropical lime-flavored Mountain Dew Baja Blast will turn this into this. Your barbecue into a cabana. And your backyard into an island oasis. With a blast of tropical lime flavor, you can bring the beach vibes with you everywhere. Grab some friends and ice-cold Mountain Dew Baja Blast today. Do the do.
Are you looking for reliable electrical supplies? Look no further than Eubanks Electrical Supply. From light bulbs to circuit breakers, we've got everything you need to power up your projects. Our expert staff is ready to help you find the right tools and materials to complete your project. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast or a professional contractor, Eubanks Electrical Supply has you covered with top brands and friendly service. Stop by today in Corbin, Kentucky at 701 South Main Street or in Somerset, Kentucky at 1030 West Columbia Street and discover why Eubanks Electrical Supply has been the trusted name in electrical supply for over 60 years.
Hand off right side to Stevens. He's picking his way around the right corner, going to be hit and dropped, and maybe a loss on the play. Depends on where they're going to spot him at. So it looks like it's going to be short of the first down. So 3rd down and about a yard here, Coach.
Perry played that pretty good. We've been trying to pick on him just off tackle to get between where we're split and the outside shoulder of the tackle. Perry's made a nice adjustment to shut that down.
And now they've changed their mind. Right in the middle of the snap, they've moved the chains, so it is going to be a first down. They had to hold up Mason there to get the chains caught up. Back to pass to Sammons. Fires long down the middle of the field. Going to be caught. Unbelievable. That ball went through the hands of the defender and right into the hands of the Corbin receiver out there. And I still can't pick up numbers. Is that Thomas? Thomas. Boy, he was going to the ground and then caught that football down about the 10-yard line.
When that ball left Mason's hands, I didn't think we had a chance to complete that pass. And he split the defenders and came up with a catch somehow.
Right through the hands of the defender, and I thought he was going to intercept it. But Thomas, great concentration to look the ball all the way in. 1st and 10 for Corbin from the 13-yard line. Mason looks over to the sideline to get a different play call, it looks like. Stevens changes sides. Mason's going to give it off to Stevens straight up the gut, hit it at the line of scrimmage and fights forward down inside the 10 to about the 7-yard line, maybe gain of about 5.
Corbin's offensive line doing a good job protecting Mason and also on the run block. Those guys don't get a lot of credit, but they've really done a remarkable job this season.
Sam is in a shotgun again, wide outs to both sides. He's going to ride Stevens up the hole again. He keeps to himself this time, pulls it back out and trots into the end zone. Touchdown, Corbin. Good ball handling that time by Mason Sammons. Faked everybody in the place that, including me, and he walks in untouched.
He handles the ball very well. And Cole was so effective running and making those quick cuts that you really got to account for him. And Mason, he really lived off of what Cole does for us on that particular run because made a good fake to Cole. They tackled him and got in the end zone.
That's kind of a bad deal for Cole. He doesn't get any yards or anything. The ball still gets hit.
He gets hammered.
Witherington on to attempt the extra point. Snaps a good one. Witherington steps into it and drives it right down the middle. Corbin extends their lead 20-0, 10:51 to go in the first half of play. We'll just hold on to it here during the break, Coach. Talk a little bit about what's upcoming for Corbin. Hounds on the road next week at Great Crossing, a very, I would say, a very substantial football team. Probably not a great record, but they play a really good schedule. Somebody that Corbin's going to have to take seriously, but also a team that's, I think, a 6A school that could help him in RPI.
I like the fact that we're playing them this next week rather than somebody that will be heavily favored over. I mean, it's going to be a winnable game for either team, and that's what you want in that last game to kind of measure where you're at. Good teams will show you your weaknesses, and those are things you got to correct if you want to win. Great Crossing, their record doesn't say that they're a top football team, but they are. They played Ryle last week very, very close, and you and I have talked about Ryle on the schedule. They played what kind of quality team, but you can bet we'll get all we want up in Georgetown when we go up there next week.
So Corbin on top, 20-0 here still. Excuse me, 10:51 to go in the half. 35-0 or 35-point deficit, I should say, is the barometer you have to get get the clock running and keep it running throughout the game. And we did find out from Tackett Wilson on the water cooler last Saturday morning that once that 35-point rule is started, you don't go back away from it, even if they cut the lead down to 10. So,
yeah, we're still about 15 points away from that. I would like to see us reach that point, but
Witherington's kick is taken by a deep back. I believe that might have been Miller back on about the 15-yard line, hit and knocked down at the 25. Yeah, we're still a ways away, and again, don't want to jinx anybody or show any disrespect to Perry Central at all, but it certainly looks like that may be the way this game's headed.
I think so. You know, we knew coming in we were going to be heavily favored. Perry struggling. They struggled at Harlan County last week. They did handle Whitley very easily, which made me think they would be a little better team than what they've shown at this point. But again, then they lose to Harlan County last week, who's also having a tough year.
But to your point, though, Bert, I think that they've been a little more up and down, but their ups have been better than any of the other teams in the district other than Corbin.
I think so.
Handoff left side, some running room out there for the Perry Central back. That is number 3, Brian Johnson. He's going to pick up the first down, I believe, around the left side. I got to mark it now. Going to be a little bit shy, actually. Second down and about 2.
Again, we'll remind everybody it was senior night. I had about as many senior participants, not just football, but band, dance team, cheerleaders, as I've seen in a long time. We covered the whole field.
Yeah, I'll say something about that in just a minute about extracurricular participation at Corbin High School in different things. Handoff up the middle, fullback lowers his head and picks up the first down. Running very hard right up the gut. There was there have been several studies done, and you always want your kids in high school to be involved in something. Doesn't matter what it is, some kind of extracurricular of some sort. But Corbin was over 88% a couple years ago. That the percentage of kids that are involved in something other than just going to school.
That's outstanding.
And whether it be ROTC, there's 110 kids in the ROTC program, freshman to senior.
Fantastic. I mean, you have a quality school system because you have quality people involved, and we're no shortage of great people in our school system.
First and 10 for Perry Central. They're going to leave it off. Notice the fake and the throw out to the left side is intended for Miller, the fullback out of the backfield, running the wheel right out there at about the 40-yard line. Overthrown, well defended out there. There was 3 people around Miller coming out of that backfield.
That's a tough throw for Miller. You know, he's on the left side. He's drifting to the left, and his receiver's a good 45 yards over here to the right. I mean, that would take a big arm to make that pass.
You know, if their roster information is correct, and it's coming from KHSA, so, you know, you never know because they have so many things to deal with. But this kid's just a freshman, 33. He's a big old kid.
They've got some size. They've had some good football teams in the past.
2 wide outs to the right. They're going to hand it off on the quick hitter to the fullback right up the middle. He's going to be knocked down at the 40-yard line. Gain of 3. He's up 3rd down and 7 for Perry Central. Corbin on top, 20-0, 9:15 to go in the half.
Corbin defensively about the way they started. Got Miles Marlowe in. He's playing one of the defensive tackles now. It's a little bit of a change. Mahan still in at the middle linebacker. Persons and Thomas on this side in the secondary. Estep and Britton on the other one. Tatum Cox is outside linebacker. And also Jackson Marlowe playing in the middle.
Perry Central operating from the left hash. Back to throw is Maggard. Ball fakes to the left side. Looks, steps up in the pocket. Is going to be hit and dropped. I believe that was Malachi Brown. Drug him down from behind. Is that who it was or not? Yes, Malachi got him from behind. I'll tell you what, that kid's quick, brother. He has got so much lateral speed. And, you know, it's a who's who in college football who's interested in this kid. Where are they going to play him? Is he a defensive end in college?
Not at this point. He's not. Now, that could change because he's young. I mean, those guys are.
I mean, he's 6'5". What's he weigh?
270, I think, maybe 260, 270. I'm not sure where he'll play because his body's not where it's going to be.
Yeah, Perry Central's punt is going to bounce out. I'm just thinking, again, in my very limited football acumen, he looks to me like he is so much better in open space. I mean, at that time he came from the weak side, tracked that ball down from behind it. I can't see him playing maybe some outside linebacker somewhere with that size. I mean, that's in speed combination.
Well, what they see from him is he's long. He's got long arms. He's already 6'4", but he's a long 6'4". He can dunk a basketball. He's athletic. Those are things that they measure, not just that you're a big kid or you're a tough kid. And he checks the box on all those. Athletic. He's quick. He's young. You know, his body's going to change a lot here in the next 18 months, and he's going to be something to deal with.
He plays with a lot of control and no histrionics. Everything he does is very measured. Here's a little touch pass to Akins. He starts up the left side. He makes a nice cut. He's in the open field. He's at the 40-30, turns the corner, is not going to be caught, takes it all the way in. Touchdown, Clay Akins. Boy, he's showing off some fine moves there, Burley, and good breakaway speed. He scores from 56 yards out. We got a flag down in the backfield again. I just look up and see that now. So that's two big touchdown runs that Corbin's going to have called back due to a hold, it looks like.
Yeah.
That still takes nothing away from the run that Akins had, though. That was a beautiful run.
He's a good offensive player. He's made big plays for us this year, and he's going to have to make some more down the stretch here if we're going to win football games. But whatever we're doing, whatever we're working on, the one thing that I see tonight, we've had a block extra point, we've had a personal foul, we've had 2 holds. You can't do that against good football teams.
Well, 2 holds that did away with 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. We've had 2 touchdowns called back. That would be, I mean, my message would be at halftime, hey, guys, I don't care what score is, we can't do that.
And let's be perfectly honest. That's assuming they got the call right.
Right. Right.
You know, there's some operator error there too. You know, but with that being said, Corbin working first and 19. That one was called from behind the line of scrimmage. So poor guy going same play the other side. Now they hand it off to Estep. He makes a cut up and he's going to be hit and met at the line of scrimmage by a host of Perry County Central Tigers. They don't get him on the ground, but Cam's going to lose a yard. May have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage.
Before this year's over, you said it early, we're going to see Cam throw that from that pass. He's going to get a little more depth. He was too shallow to actually be able to throw that, but I think at some point he's going to get a little depth and he's going to throw that football to somebody.
Yeah, he's got plenty of arm, and the kids, you know, he's had some good experience at quarterback throughout the years as well, so he can throw it. Same set for Corbin. They're working from the right hash. 2 wide outs to the short side of the field, 2 back to this side as well. 1 back to Sammons' left. That's Steve. He's going to redirect traffic now. Moves him over to the right. 2nd and 20 for Corbin from the 34. Sammons back to pass. Fires across the middle. Incomplete. That one thrown just a touch hard, I think, off the hands of Thomas. And maybe a little more touch there, Coach. And I think Thomas could have handled it. But about the time he came out of his break, that ball was right on him.
It was a little hot. I mean, it was a good route, good tight spiral, but just a little hot on that. You got to pass that one a little bit. I think that's where Mason is going to continue to improve. He's got a great arm. He's a good quarterback. He's had a good year. But I think he's going to, as time goes on, he's going to start to pass it a little more than throw it.
That's a great way to put it. The analogy I think about is when they talked about when Brett Favre went to the pros out of Southern Miss. He said he was breaking fingers in practice. He was throwing it so hard as back off just a touch. Kind of the same thing. A lot of arm talent, but developing that touch is going to be a big part of his game, I'm sure. Mason rolls right. He's looking to throw. He's going to run it himself. He's got the first down. Makes a nice move to 40. Loses a couple tacklers. Cuts back again against the grain. He's into Perry County Central territory at the 40. Going to be chased out of bounds at the 35. Another flag comes in at the very end.
It's another hold, and we held, and it was unnecessary to hold.
That's way down the field, though, so I think they're still going to have enough to maybe pick up the first down. The flag is thrown down about the 35-yard line from the back judge. He was The back judge showed a heck of an arm there. He fired that flag about 25 yards in the air.
Yeah, it was a hold on one of our receivers. We had him blocked, and the back's going to go ahead and get outside, and he just hung on for whatever reason.
But let me ask you this question, Coach, and again, you've coached, I haven't. Would you rather put up with some of those type of penalties than be putting up with your guys not making an effort to block?
Well, I think there's a line, and the hardest thing in coaching is to make sure that you get to the line, but you don't cross it.
That kid right there, I saw the hold. You're right.
But
he's working his tail off.
Yeah, he was. He was.
It wasn't a lazy hold. Pull somebody from behind. He was right up in his face mask, and so I get your point. But again, boy, this hold actually must have been called from point of foul was back at the 45 because they're going to take Corbin back to the 35-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and a half a mile here. The back judge threw that flag though, Burley, from the other end of the field.
Well, there must have been 2 flags because I know this was the hold here. You could see it, and the back judge threw the penalty. He wouldn't have been able to throw this flag.
That's my point.
I mean, back here,
yeah,
so
exactly.
Maybe there was 2 holds.
Well, the hold had to have happened. If it's a 10-yard penalty, it had to have happened at the 45. He was 15 yards beyond that. Back to pass, they dump it off on the screen to Stevens. He's picking his way across midfield. He starts up the left sideline. He's got some room. Going to be chased out of bounds at about the 42-yard line. He's going to have the first down, I believe. Yeah, he's going to have the first down by about a yard.
That was great execution by Mason and Cole and the offensive line. Out there leading the way was Braxton Tolliver and also Miles Marlowe. They're in on the left side, the guard and tackle. They really did a good job on that screen.
Well, very patient run that time by Stevens. He never got above 3/4 speed that time. He just picked his way behind his blockers. Salmon's back to pass, ball fakes, fires long down the right side. He's got a receiver right there. It's going to be caught by Thomas, taken into the end zone. Touchdown, Corbin. That was a strike, and I believe that was Thomas, if I get my numbers right there, Coach.
You did. You did.
Yeah. My goodness. You can almost see the way that kid runs. You can pick him up without seeing a number, but that was an absolute bullet thrown that time and a strike by Salmons. Caught Thomas in stride about the goal line, and he takes it in for the touchdown.
Thomas is so fluid the way he runs. He runs effortless, and I really think he's going to be a big-time player before he leaves here.
But he runs different than anybody on the field.
He's fluid.
It doesn't look like his feet touch the ground, and boy, he's just an athlete. That's no disrespect to anybody, but that kid runs different than anybody on the field. He's a jet.
That's a great throw by Mason, too.
Great
he got
throw.
him. Mason got him on the pump fake. The kid come up, and then Thomas ran right on by him.
Witherington on to attempt the extra point.
We'll try to get us some scores here and see if we can get Coach Wendell Foley on that.
Yeah, we sure appreciate Wendell. No, he's been under the weather a bit. We certainly, our thoughts and prayers are with him, but he is a red hound and a football lover, absolutely. And the only thing I can say bad about Wendell is Witherington drives the extra point through, and he's good because he's a Steelers fan. That's the only thing I can say. The only thing I can say bad about Wendell.
We can't hold that against him.
Can't hold it against him. Greg is too. But at any rate, Corbin 27-0 lead here, 6:05 to go in the first half. We'll hang on to it right here, Coach. Talk a little bit about some of these other games. North Laurel, South Laurel playing tonight. That's I don't know who I like. I think North has probably had the more consistent year, playing better competition. But South has been explosive. They got a great quarterback.
Well, if you would have asked me 3 weeks ago, I would have said South, easy. But I just, I think North is physical. I think they run the ball pretty well. It's a toss-up, but I'm going to give North the edge, and I don't know how that'll come out, but we'll see. I just think North may get them.
They very well could, and again, I'm the same way. I would have thought North without any question up until a couple of weeks ago, but I think South is the Pulaski game kind of threw me for a loop. I thought they would play Pulaski a little bit better than that, but I think South. Anytime you've got that good a quarterback, you're going to be in the game. There must have been another penalty on Corbin Burley after the extra point, because the extra point was good, but they moved Corbin back to kick off from the 25. So a 15-yard penalty on the Hounds for something extracurricular that happened after the touchdown, or the extra point, excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, that's to me, as an announcer or a coach or just a fan, that's the most irritating thing to me, is just senseless penalties.
Low line drive kick up the middle, field on the short op at the 40 by and up back, and he's going to dive out to almost the 50-yard line. So the penalty certainly aided Perry Central there. 5:59 to go in the first half, and Perry Central is going to have good field position.
I don't know what the last penalty was. Did you pick up
No,
on that one?
I didn't even see the flag. And again, I'm not good at that. I start looking down at my notes and don't scan the field for flags as well as I should. But it had to be against Corbin because normally they kick at the 40 and he was at the 25. So
it was on the extra point. The penalty had to be on the extra point, or the touchdown would have been nullified. So I don't know what it would have been other than a personal foul, but we'll try to get that clarified.
There's only very few penalties in high school that are 15 yards, personal foul being one of them. Handoff straight up the middle to Miller. He's going to be hit and dropped after a nice run that time. Lowered his head and banged it forward. I take that back. That was number 3, not 33. That was Brian Johnson. He's had a couple nice runs in the game. Second down at about 5.
He's been a bright spot for Perry Central.
Yeah,
Well,
is there? You would know this, Coach. I didn't mean to interrupt. But is there a penalty other than is pass interference 15 yards?
Yes.
Okay, so there's only a couple penalties that are 15 yards. Everything else either 5 or 10.
Right.
So that one almost had to be a personal foul against Corbin, which would have been their second in the game. Second down to 5. Now Maggard leads it off with Johnson again. This time he's going to be hit and stacked up with the line of scrimmage. First red hound to him over there was number 2, Tate Cox. Got a hand on him and pulled him down from behind, and then Malachi Brown there to clean things up.
Corbin with 9 people in the box, Dave. If you'll look when Perry sets their offense, we have 9 people up in the box and only 2 defensive backs now. I don't know if we'll be able to do that next week at Great Crossing.
I would agree, but is that part and parcel due to how much confidence they have in E-Step playing the back end here?
I think that has something to do with it. He and Britton are both veteran guys, and they have a lot of confidence. Well, it's 4th down now. They're back to them out there, and we're back to 4 defensive backs. 3rd
and 4 here for Perry Central. Back to throw is Maggard off the left side, incomplete. Well defended out there by Britton. Had that ball been thrown in a catchable place for the receiver out there, Britton would have had a chance to pick it off.
In certain defensive looks, you have E-Step, Britton, Trey Persons, and Zach Thomas in the secondary. That's pretty solid.
Pretty solid. And again, you flip that over, and that's about the same guys who our wide receivers are.
That right.
You know?
They run, they anticipate. They're solid high school football players.
E-Step set to field the punt, standing at about his own 15-yard line. Punt on the way, boys, just about blocked. Comes out of there and takes a nice Perry Central roll. Cam moves away from it, and it rolls all the way down to the 10-yard line where it'll be touchdown there. Corbin will take over with not great field position here. 4:13 to go, though, in the first half. Corbin on top 27-0.
If they can get in the end zone here, we'll get the running clock, or should. No, we'd have to go for 2.
We'd have to go for 2. And we saw Corbin do that in one of the earlier games. They did go for 2 to get that clock running. I think these games, once they're pretty well decided, the biggest thing that would be on my mind, and I suspect it's on Luke's as well, is getting out of here whole. Nobody hurt.
Without question. Got a couple scores coming up after this play.
Britton and E-Step to one side, Akins and Thomas to the other side. That's the short side of the field. Mason's going to hand it off straight up the gut. That's Stevens. He breaks a couple tackles, lowers his head, and pushes the pile out over the 20 to about the 21-yard line. That should be enough for the first down. The officials moving the chains, I should say.
Update score: Harlan County, Whitley County 0-0 in the second. North leads South 7-3 in the second.
Yeah, I bet we used to call those slobber knockers. Everybody on the field's wanting to hit somebody.
I've been in a couple of them.
I suspect you have. Salmon's back to throw. Here comes some pressure. Rolls to his right, fires long down the right sideline. Underthrown, incomplete. Good defense back there. Tell me again, number 7. I wrote his
Johnson.
That kid's a football player. He's the guy they've thrown to about 5 times tonight. He's got 3 receptions, but he's also their best defensive back from what I can see. He was running stride for stride that time with Thomas.
On the roster, they have him listed as a quarterback, but they've made that change. They've got him listed as a quarterback, defensive back. He's a senior.
Well, they're throwing the football to him. He's on the receiving end of most of those pass attempts. Was on the last one when they had to turn it over on downs. A little flip this time, left side. They get it off to Akins. He cuts it up against the grain. That played very well defended by Perry Central. No gain on the play. Bring up 3rd down and about 10.
Not a lot of room for Clay. Up front, Gavin Hinkle. still going, been there all year. Seth Jones, also Jonathan Miller. Looks like Braxton Tolliver, still the left tackle.
3:24 to go in the half. Corbin on top 27-0. Salmon's working out of the shotgun. Sends Stevens in motion out of the right empty backfield. Pump fakes to Stevens. Looks. Chased out of the pocket. Is going to keep it himself. Turns it up to the 30. Tripped up and dives out to about the 34-yard line. This will depend on the spot, but I think he's going to have the first down.
He's a nifty runner, I would call him. He's not blistering fast, but he cuts and anticipates real well. Was able to pick up the first down.
He runs behind his pads, as I've heard you football people say, because what he does, he very seldom gets knocked backwards.
He don't get hit clean.
That time he got his legs up, but he still fell forward for 2 yards. He's got a lot of momentum when he goes. Looks back to throw again, gets it off to Britton. Nice catch in the flag, makes a guy miss. Good job by Lucas. Starts up the left sideline. He's got a lot of running room. He's going to be hit and tripped up all the way down to the 22-yard line. One tackler away from taking that one to the house. Good catch that time by Britton. Then had the wherewithal to take a nice sidestep and elude another defender. Big gainer all the way down inside the 20.
Mason just kind of side-armed that one out too, Lucas. I would have liked to saw Lucas got in the end zone there. You know, he had the tough injury last year, missed most of the season. Got some playing time early.
Well, I would have too, and I think he may get a chance again. Sammons fires it off on the right side, this time to Thomas. It's the same play, different side of the field. Thomas weaves through defenders, takes it into the end zone. Touchdown, Corbin. I'm going to tell you what, that was a submarine throw that time. As the defender, they were rushing with their hands up after the quarterback, Sammons. He just dropped down sidearm, completely sidearm, fired a bullet out to Thomas, who just took it in the end zone. I'll tell you what, that kid's got some – he's got some hops.
He's smooth, really smooth. Mason's a great example if you don't have to be tall to play quarterback. He is creative with his arm and does a good job getting it out to him in creative ways.
Yeah. Extra point is blocked. Corbin has had some trouble with extra points. Where you pointed that out, and again, I always like to say this. Drew Brees, pretty good example of that too. He was pushed around and traded around, and finally ended up being an All-Pro. But at any rate, Corbin did not go for the two birdie to get the running clock. So 33-0, 2:18 to go here in the half. We'll take a 30-second break, then be back to Campbell Field. Stay with us. You're listening to Red Hound Football on T107.
Ready to start the fun? Honda CRF Trail Bike lineup is built for riders of all ages and sizes. Start small with the beginner-friendly CRF 50F, step up to the electric start 110F, or go bigger with the CRF 125F, available in standard and big wheel versions. They're rugged, reliable, and built for off-road fun. Visit Tri-County Cycle Sales, 8775 US Highway 25 in Corbin, Kentucky today, and get the whole family riding with Honda CRF trail bikes. For your safety, read the owner's manual and always wear a helmet and eye protection. Honda off-road bikes are recommended for riders of appropriate age and skill level.
Back at Campbell Field, 33-0. Corbin on top, 2:18 to go here in the first half of play. I suspect there's been a few folks that would normally be in our stands that stayed home and watched the Kentucky Wildcats take care of Purdue tonight in an exhibition game. But congratulations to the Wildcats. I'm excited for this basketball season. They've got a lot of talent there, and there's a lot of questions to be answered. Last year was kind of a storybook year, starting with no players ending up making a pretty good run in NCAA. But it's a little different when you're expected to do it from the get-go.
It is.
Here's the kickoff. It's a ground ball up the right sideline, and a up back for Prairie Central just very alertly falls on the ball, and that one could have bounced everywhere. Falls onto the 32-yard line. Prairie Central will take over with 2:15 to go in the half.
Update on the north-south game. North now leads South 14-3.
If I had to bet my own money, I probably would have bet North, but for some reason I just felt like South's quarterback would be able to keep them in the game. And again, 14-3 is not instrumental.
He may yet.
Yeah.
He's good. Corbin still with the starters.
This is a tough stretch of games to manage from a head coaching standpoint. You don't want to get anybody hurt, but your kid's got to play. You can't take 3 weeks off, hand off straight up the middle, and massive humanity there brings down the middle of the fullback after a gain of about 3, maybe 4.
Well, when the year started, we didn't know it was going to be like this. You know, we thought Whitley was going to be a little better than it turned out. Harlan County, I saw them against Clay. They were physical, had a nice quarterback. It turns out their season didn't turn out the way they want. And then, of course, we're watching Perry tonight. It makes next week's game even more important because we'll have to really be ready to go next week.
I would agree.
And I'm glad that game is. I'm glad it's on the road. Although I like playing here, but we need to get in an atmosphere where we're challenged and we got to play to win.
I would agree, and I think to your point of the three games that we've had up to this point in the district, that kind of coincided with Corbin maturing a little bit as well. I think those two things hit about the same time. Johnson off the left tackle for Perry Central gets it out to about the 39-yard line. Needed to make the 43, so going to be about 3 yards shy. Third down now for Perry Central. Clock running 1:05 to go in the half.
Well, the reason I think it's important to go on the road next week and play well because I'm almost positive the RPI will be on the road at some point because of the 3 losses. So that'll be a good challenge for us to go on the road and understand the things it takes, how you got to prepare, be in an environment that's not friendly because you're going to see that again if you can win those first 2 playoff games.
I think that, and again, I believe, and again, we're still surmising. I don't know if anybody knows the mechanics of how all that works, but I believe the first 2 games will be at home, and I believe the second one will be against Ashland here, even though Ashland may be his run off the left side stopped short of the first down is the running back, and then the flags come down from everywhere.
That got us through 2 flags.
Yeah. Well, that tells you something. When the official brings 2 flags to a game, he's expecting trouble.
I'm telling you, that one official threw 2 flags.
Yeah.
I don't know if he didn't mean to get his spare out or what happened.
Hey, I called a game with Papa Trotsky one time. I've never called a football game in my life. I'd only played a few in Little League, but we get over here to call the game, and he said, I've got everything he needs. I said, well, he gave my shirt and everything. He's my hat. And he said, where's my flag? He goes, you don't need a flag. He said, Paul said, I'll take care of all the flags. He said, you just spot the ball. He said,
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I said, I still get paid the same. He said, yeah, you'll get paid the same. I said, I'll do it then.
He was a good one. Looks like Corbin's going to get the ball maybe. So that penalty must have went on.
Well, it's 4th down now, I think, Coach.
No, it's not. Yeah, it is. I mean, you're correct.
So I'm not, but they're just we got a break in the action. There's 15 seconds left on the clock. We kind of got sideways there a little bit. 4th down and 4 is what the clock is showing, and it looks as if Perry Central's going to get to run one more offensive play here, and they're probably going to take a knee based on this. No, they're going to try to punt it away. Well, I don't know if I'd have done that with 15 seconds ago, but they did. It's going to bounce, and Estep's going to let it bounce, and picks it up, starts up the right sideline. Got some running room. He's still on his feet all the way past the 50, down the 40, down the 30. Looks like he's going to go all the way. If he didn't step out of bounds, that's a touchdown. He's into the end zone. The light operator thinks it's a touchdown, so a touchdown. Corbin Estep returns that one about 70 yards there, Coach.
No flags.
No flags for the first time tonight on a long run by Corbin. I think Cam kind of lured them to sleep. It lured me to sleep. I thought he was going to let it bounce. It bounced twice before he picked it up. And he said, I expect him to step out of bounds on that far sideline at any time to avoid, any kind of injury. But that play took the entire 15 seconds. So the extra point, the last play of the first half here, barring a defensive penalty, Corbin extends that lead to 39-0, which will get that clock started running at the beginning of the second half.
Well, Cam's really good at catching that thing on the hop. He fields it. I'm not surprising he's going to college to play baseball because he fields that punt when it bounces. He can field it just like a shortstop could. And that time he was able, let's give the special teams some credit here. They set the wall up over there. Cam got on the sideline. I thought he might get knocked out of bounds, but he was able to go all the way.
I was expecting to step out at any time and maybe save one shot at the end zone for a long pass. Witherington's extra point is perfect this time. Stepped into that one and drives it through, and that will bring to a close the first half of play. 40-0. Corbin on top here at the break. So we're going to take a timeout as well, and then we'll be back to Campbell Field. But hopefully we'll get a word with Coach Shamus here as we begin the second half. Stick around. You're listening to Red Nut Football on T107.
Are you looking for reliable electrical supplies? Look no further than Eubanks Electrical Supply. From light bulbs to circuit breakers, we've got everything you need to power up your projects. Our expert staff is ready to help you find the right tools and materials to complete your project. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast or a professional contractor, Eubanks Electrical Supply has you covered with top brands and friendly service. Stop by today in Corbin, Kentucky at 701 South Main Street or in Somerset, Kentucky at 1030 West Columbia Street and discover why Eubanks Electrical Supply has been the trusted name in electrical supply for over 60 years.
Dispatch. I will be stopping a high-speed reckless driver headed from Smoky Bear's Barbecue over to the big Corbin football game.
Officer, proceed with caution. Smoky Bears is serving up some of the best food in town. They have house-made sauces, rubs, fall-off-the-bone ribs, the best burgers you can find, and ridiculous salads.
You aren't kidding. This place has folks lined up out the door. Send every unit you can before Smoky Bears runs out of food.
Attention all units requesting backup at Smoky Bears Barbecue and Catering on American Greeting Card Road.
Enjoy Smoky Bear's Barbecue 7 days a week for lunch, dinner, and all your catering needs. Dine in, carry out, order online, and DoorDash.
Need auto repairs? Then you need Owens Auto Repair. Owens offers a wide variety of parts and services. You'll find all the top name brand batteries and tires to a full line of truck and auto parts. Utility beds, Sherman-Williams auto paint, weather guard toolboxes, custom-made hydraulic hoses, and yes, service work for cars, trucks, and RVs. Whether it's auto repairs or just a battery or new tires, Owens Auto Repair has you covered. Owens Auto Repair, serving you for more than half a century. Located just down from Corbin High School on Cumberland Falls Highway in Corbin.
Terrain changes, seasons change, but Honda ATVs, they show up ready. The 2026 Four Tracks Rancher, Foreman, and Rubicon are back just as reliable as ever with available four-wheel drive, automatic DCT, and independent rear suspension on select models. There's a Honda built for how you ride. Visit Tri-County Cycle Sales, 8775 US Highway 25 in Corbin, Kentucky today, and count on Honda to get it done. For your safety, read the owner's manual and always wear a helmet and eye protection. Honda ATVs are for riders 16 years and older.
One sip of tropical lime flavored Mountain Dew Baja Blast will turn this into this. Your barbecue into a cabana. And your backyard into an island oasis. With a blast of tropical lime flavor, you can bring the beach vibes with you everywhere. Grab some friends and ice-cold Mountain Dew Baja Blast today. Do the do.
Ever heard the phrase big enough to serve you, small enough to know you? It's true at Hometown Bank. From the easy-to-use mobile app to online banking and even bill pay, Hometown Bank has everything you need to make banking easier. Whether you need to make a mobile deposit or would rather stop in and see a friendly, smiling face in person, Hometown Bank is here and ready to help. Stop in and find out how easy working with a Hometown Bank can be. Visit the Hometown Bank nearest you. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's Oktoberfest at Sammy's Furniture and Mattress. That's right, folks. Everything in the store, $4.99 and up, is on sale. How much, you might ask? It's $100 off everything in this entire store that's $4.99 and up. You want one piece, two piece? We don't care. You buy 10 things, you're getting $1,000 off. Folks, that's Sammy's Furniture and Mattress, where the deals are not going to stop this fall. We're open 7 days a week from 10 to 6. That way, we're here when you need us. We're even open on Sunday from 12 to 5. We got 12 months same as cash finance, and if you need it, folks, we even deliver. That's Sammy's Furniture and Mattress. Come see us today.
Hi, welcome back to Campbell Field. Dave Cox and Burley Foley with you here. A little bit of an extended halftime here. I believe the band is going to. They usually do this once or twice a year, but they're in their full dress. And I know a little bit about this because we used to be involved with this, some of the planning and this stuff. I believe they're rehearsing for their upcoming competition. So for the band, this is a full dress rehearsal. They've got all their props out on the field. So it's going to be maybe a little bit longer halftime, but. Corbin Band does a great job, and they work really hard. These kids, this is their game too, Coach. You know, we tend to forget that sometimes, but this is a dance team, cheerleaders, band, drama, all these extracurricular activities that Corbin has going on. It's just a nice thing for kids to be able to find something that they can identify with and something that brings them to school and then keeps them happy and satisfied.
Time and it really made more sense than anything probably that somebody told me as a young person when they were talking about the band. They said the thing that's unique about the band is when you get to be 40 or 50 years old, it's going to be hard for you to go out and play a game of football, or it's going to be hard for you to do a cheer, but you can always play that instrument.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, and you know what I've noticed, because I go to church with a bunch of these kids that are in the band, and some of the music teachers and folks from the school system, and many of these folks learn how to play an instrument in high school, but then branch out to several other instruments. You know, there's kids that are playing piano and playing sax and doing all this kind of stuff, and I think I just love the fact that you see this much effort. I mean, we trying to paint a picture for you here. There's props out there on rollers, on casters. You got full drum sets set up out there. It's just an awesome view here, and they're stretched out from 30 to 30 here on the football field. So kudos to the Corbin band, and we appreciate all that they do to help with the atmosphere here at these ball games, especially when it's 40-0, and at the break. And no disrespect to Perry Central, Corbin played really sharp when they it was good when it was good, and there's still some things to clean up though, Coach. I think you made mention of that.
Yeah, I'm really not surprised. I didn't think Perry could handle what we got right now. What's happened in our district is our team is going a different direction than the teams we're playing. Unfortunately, Whitley, Harlan County, and all Perry are not playing as well as they played earlier, and I think we're playing a little better now. Yeah, competition has something to do with that, but I do have some I don't want to say criticism, but some things of concern. Just some things that jumped out at me. We've been off the mark with our extra points. We've had 2 blocked. That can beat you down the road. We've had 2 personal fouls. They're unnecessary. That can cost you a big play. We've had 2 touchdowns called back. That's a concern. And we've had 3 holding penalties. Those are some things that you got to clean up, and because it'll show next week if you don't. And I know in a game like this you can get careless. You can get a little overzealous, and you can do some stuff like that. But those are some things that Corbin is going to have to improve to go on and make a march toward Kroger Field in December.
You know, those things that just get amplified more the higher and the better the competition gets. And beginning next week, the competition is going to continue to get better. You know, we're going to play Great Crossings, and quite frankly, we could have an easier game in that first game of the playoffs than Great Crossings. We could have, but once we get to that second, third, and hopefully fourth, fifth games, it's going to get rock solid, because I'm telling you, you know this as well as I do. We talk about it all the time. I don't know that there's a more competitive, more talent-laden group of teams in the state than 4A.
Oh, I think it's the best from top to bottom. I think it's the best division. I think 6A probably has some of the best teams, but I think from top to bottom, 4A has more better teams. But to give you a little history lesson on the first round of the playoffs and what that means, we had defeated Madison Southern 40-0 in the regular season and ended up playing them in the first game of the playoffs. Got beat.
I remember that. That was it's been a while back, but I do remember that.
Yeah, that was probably, I'm going to say, around 98 maybe. And again, I'm guessing, so I don't know. But that happened, and it could happen again. So you got to prepare like you're playing the best team on the schedule, because if you're not preparing and you're not playing like you're playing the best team on the schedule, you could get beat.
There's only been well said, but there's only been a handful though of those 4s beating 1s. You know, number 4 seed beating 1 seeds in the history of the playoffs. Matter of fact, some people even lobby. I was one of those. Of course, I have no authority, but I was one of those that have always said, I think that's pretty much a useless game. If you're the number 4 seed and you're 2-7 on the year, why would you want to play the best team? That number 1 team should be getting a bye. I mean, they should get something for their hard work all year long. But it does occur every now and then, and so you got to play the games. But let's talk a little bit, Coach, about the RPI. And again, it would take a Rhodes Scholar and 14 mathematicians to figure out how this thing is figured out. And I think the KHSA likes it that way, quite frankly. I don't think they want anybody to understand how it works other than them and the supercomputer. But with that being said, it kind of regenerated itself after last week. Boyle County, I think, for the first time went back up to number 1. Johnson Central's number 2, Franklin County 3, Paducah Tillman 4. I think any mixture of those 4 would probably not get much argument from anybody. And those are 4 really good teams. But here's where it gets a little dicey for me. Logan County, Highlands, Lincoln County, Taylor County. All 4 of those teams have played, with the exception of Highlands. 3 of those 4 teams have played very suspect schedules, and they're all ranked above Ashland and Corbin and Covington Catholic. Now, I can't, if they're betting their own money, is there any chance that those folks would bet on any of those three teams that we just talked about beating Cuff Cath, Ashland, or Corbin?
I don't think you would, although Taylor County, I wouldn't count them completely out. They're having a pretty decent year. But when you mentioned the first four, again, if I were betting my own money, I'd throw Cub Cath right in there, equivalent to all four of those. Those are five really good football teams at the top of 4A.
Well, you got Cub Cath with a 6-3 record. Similar to Corbin, they've lost 3 games, but the competition has been stellar. But I guess my point is that if this computer, this supercomputer that determines what this RPI is supposed to take all those factors into account, into who you played, into the schedule that they have played, all those kinds of things. Taylor County's not played a team in the top 15.
Right.
And nothing against Taylor County. I know they got a nice football team, and they could easily win several games in the playoffs. But my point is, I don't think the computer is calibrated just right. But but with that being said, it is something we become familiar with because we, quite frankly, and I'll let you comment on this. I'll hush and be quiet about it. But the last couple of years, even the last year of Tommy Greer's tenure, going into last year with Luke's first year, I don't think Corbin got a fair shake on either time with RPI.
Well, I mean, it made no sense for us to go to Paducah Tillman last year, in my opinion. I just think that's one of the problems I have with it. When it was East versus West, people argued, well, maybe they're not the best teams. Well, you're going to find out when they get to the finals who the best team is. And, and year in and year out, it's not always, the good teams are all on the West or the good teams on the East. I liked it better because it's going to be settled at Kroger Field at some point. But now you're taking Corbin, and we're going 5 hours to Paducah Tillman, and then you may take a Cub Cath that has to go 4 hours up into the mountains. I mean, it just makes no sense to me.
And we may end up doing that again this year.
Very well could.
But the thing about it that bothers me is that before when the sites were determined on an alternating year, everybody had a shot. Now the rich get richer because they start out much like Kentucky in basketball. They start out at the top list, and they have to prove that they're not that good rather than
prove they're that good.
The other way around.
That's a great way to say it because that's exactly how it is.
That's exactly it is. And then all of a sudden you get a Taylor County or a Lincoln County and again, no disrespect to anybody, but you can I've looked at their schedules in depth, and there's no comparison to who those folks have played as compared to Corbin. And if Johnson Central is number 1 or number 2 in this thing, and they beat you by 3 points, that should stand for something more than beating somebody who's got a losing record.
Well, speaking of Johnson Central, they're ahead of Ashland right now, 21-0. So that'll tell you Johnson Central quality football team, and they've earned the right to be up there. But quite honestly, I'd rather go back to Johnson Central if we get to the 3rd round and play them than I had go to Paducah Tillman 5 hours away.
I'd rather go to Afghanistan than go back to Paducah Tillman.
It was a trip.
Hey, I'm just telling you, you could get there quicker and you probably get a better shake.
It was,
we
didn't get the best shake over there.
I mean, and listen,
sure.
I'm sitting here complaining, but I'm not involved in any of this anymore other than just doing it on the radio. But you go over there, and my understanding is, and you know this as well as I do, people out here may not know, the five guys that refereed that game, 4 of them lived within 30 miles or something like that. Anyway, it's a moot point, but I don't understand letting the computer do this. It should be decided on the field, and I really think that what you do in the regular season, the people that you play leading up to the playoffs should matter, and apparently it doesn't a lot of times.
Well, again, you and I both talked about this numerous times. I don't like it, but that's the rules, and that's what we got to deal with. Back to the Paducah Tillman thing real quick. I don't want to shade them because they were a good football team and probably a better football team than us. But although we played their pants off, and I think we could have upset them, but we had every call go against us. In my lifetime of coaching, playing, and being a radio announcer, I've never seen it as one-sided as I did in that game.
It was difficult to watch, and I will say this too, though. And while we're just killing some time here at the halftime of a 40-0 ball game, I'm not throwing shade at KHSAA. I've got good friends up there, people that work hard, and I'm not saying that there's any conspiracy against Corbin in any fashion. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that when you look at it, it makes no common sense to me.
It doesn't me either.
And I can't see, but it's kind of like our good friend Bob Igo used to say. They talked about the racetrack out there. Whoever starts out the first is going to win because there's not room to pass. That's here. If you start out at the top and you play any kind of schedule at all, you can't get past them. Boy, it makes a big difference now because that determines the home team. I don't think that should be the way it is, but at any rate, that's the way it is, and we'll play by those rules. But again, good conversation, and that's the kind of thing you can talk about in a 40-0 football game. But Corbin, here at the break, the band just finished their performance, did an outstanding job, and I really appreciate the fans. That 90% of the fans stuck around at halftime and in a 40-0 game watched the band perform. And I'd say there's a lot of band parents over there, Coach, that paid their way to this ball game to watch them as well. So
outstanding performance.
Kudos to them.
Outstanding performance. It looked like something you'd see at Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I mean, it was colorful. It was well orchestrated. And again, my hat's off to the Corbin.
All right.
band.
We're going to go down to the field now. I believe we've got Aliana with Coach Salmons.
With a 40-0 lead at the half, how do you keep your team from becoming too complacent?
Just keep playing. Hopefully we can just keep playing a good half.
With such a big lead, do you start thinking about getting some reps for your younger players?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you want to finish what we started this from the first half, but yeah, I mean, if we can, that's what we'll do. Yes.
Thank you, Coach. Talk to you in the morning at the water cooler. Back to you, Dave.
All right, thanks, Aliana. I appreciate that. And again, I think, Coach, there's always a lot of conjecture, if you will, when you start talking about who should be going where and who should not be going where. And you see it in the NCAA now. It's such a point, and the money is so big in at that level that they're letting everybody in now.
Right. And I know the teams that are getting favored by the RPI, because I'll give you an example. Boyle County, they're ahead of Wayne 41-0 tonight, and they've just now taken a rise in RPI. Until somebody beats Boyle, I don't see how you could argue that they're not the best team in 4A. They've earned that, but if they're the best team in 4A, they shouldn't mind playing people on their end of the state, which depending on how you divide it up, that could put them over here on the east with us. But nevertheless, I think you've got to take into consideration some travel stuff that makes sense, and there's just a lot of factors about it. But again, it's the same. It's not just a rule against Corbin. It's a rule against everybody. I'm sure everybody has something they like or don't like about it. But, until it's changed, or if it's changed, we'll play by the rules and do the best we can with it.
Yeah, I would agree. And again, not throwing, and to use your term, not throwing shade at anyone, KHS or anywhere else. And everybody's searching for a fair way to do things and a way to make it equitable for everyone. It just seems like sometimes you don't need to change things just for the sake of change. And I think sometimes that's the way it's been done, because it had worked for decades. And at any rate, a good conversation piece, as I said, in a 40-0 game here at the half. We're going to pause for one more time out, then we'll be back to Campbell Field. Stick around. You're listening to Red Hound Football on T107.
Are you looking for reliable electrical supplies? Look no further than Eubanks Electrical Supply. From light bulbs to circuit breakers, we've got everything you need to power up your projects. Our expert staff is ready to help you find the right tools and materials to complete your project. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast or a professional contractor, Eubanks Electrical Supply has you covered with top brands and friendly service. Stop by today in Corbin, Kentucky at 701 South Main Street, or in Somerset, Kentucky at 1030 West Columbia Street, and discover why Eubanks Electrical Supply has been the trusted name in electrical supply for over 60 years.
Dispatch. I will be stopping a high-speed reckless driver en route from Smoky Bear's barbecue to the Big Corbin ball game.
Officer, proceed with caution. Smoky Bears is serving up some of the best food in town. They have house-made sauces, rubs, fall-off-the-bone ribs, catfish, and ridiculous salads.
You weren't kidding. This place has folks lined up out the door. Send every unit you can before Smoky Bears runs out of food.
Attention all units requesting backup at Smoky Bears Barbecue and Catering on American Greeting Card Road.
Enjoy Smoky Bears Barbecue 7 days a week for lunch, dinner, and all your catering needs. Dine in, carry out, order online, and DoorDash.
With you here back to action here to start the second half. Corbin on top 40-0. I think we should see the running clock. Again, the one thing Tackett did not commit to last week, Coach, was that is it imperative that this thing start, or do both coaches have to agree?
I'm not clear on that, honestly, and we didn't get a clarification on that, but I'm going to continue to try to get that clarification.
Yeah, there's got to be a rule in place somewhere that the coaches either have to both agree or it's automatic. We don't know that yet. We'll see here very shortly as Corbin's going to be kicking off, and it looks like there's a penalty against Corbin before we ever get started here. Was there this may have been a penalty, Coach, from the end of the touchdown that ended the first half when East Step took it back, and maybe an excessive celebration or something down there. I don't know, but they're going to back Corbin up from the 40 to the 25. We've kicked off more from the 25 tonight than we have from the 40.
Well, that's a 15-yarder, and I don't know what that penalty could have been if it wasn't some kind of personal foul.
Had to be unsportsmanlike conduct of some sort, but they let him tee it up at the 40. Witherington actually took a couple steps, and the official then jumped in and blew it dead like he just remembered it, and they moved him back to 25. So Sebastian approaches, puts the foot to it, kicks it down the right sideline. Is going to take him out to about the 25 into the arms of a waiting up back at the 30. He's got some running room out over the 40-yard line, still running, breaks a tackle. He's into Corbin territory at the 40. There comes a flag down from behind the play. He's going to take it in for the touchdown. A good run back by Perry Central, but they're going to get a taste of what we've seen twice already tonight, is this one coming back as a penalty against Perry Central.
Yeah, it's got to be a block in the back. I'm pretty sure that'll be the penalty. I didn't see the block in the back, but I would venture to say that's what it is. But on the other hand, special team breakdown.
Yeah, that was and again, they start out 15 yards down the field already, for kicking from the 25. I don't know what happened. Obviously something happened, and on that kick. Now they're going to say that was against Corbin. So I take all that back. The touchdown is going to stand for Perry Central. So they run the kickoff back. It's going to be 46, and the clock is continuing to run, Coach. So both coaches either agreed or it doesn't matter, and they're going to be under the 35 because it's going to be a 34-point lead here when they put the 6 points up. So it looks like we've cleared both of those questions up, at least the one whether it's if you get it back under 35, is the clock going to continue to run? It looks like it is.
I don't understand what that penalty could be. Again,
I don't know.
I mean, it could have been a face mask. Oh, no, it's football. I thought that was flag. You threw football.
Yeah. We're a little flag conscious now. Griffin had to attempt the extra point. Griffith's kick is good. So 7 points on the board for Perry Central. Corbin on top 40-7. Clock continues to run. So, and both coaches may have to agree on both of those things, but I do think that as long as I can remember that once it gets to 35, it doesn't matter what the deficit is the rest of the game. The clock continues to run. So with that being said, there should be a good second half. But again, not a great start for Corbin. They didn't start the first game. They didn't start off well with the fumble to begin the ball game, and then
we ended the half with a penalty and started the half with a penalty.
And a long kickoff return.
15-yard penalties.
Yeah. But the penalty was against us, and we still gave up the run back.
Gave up the touchdown.
Yeah. But, and again, it is hard. These are 16, 17, 18-year-old kids. They've had 2 games in a row that they've been really not challenged in 3 now. And then you're going to end up with
well, they're going to take this penalty. Here's a refereeing point. The touchdown was good, and there was a penalty on it against us. So I would assume they had to decline that and take the touchdown.
But they've enforced the penalty here on the kickoff.
So it must have been, I'm guessing, and again, if somebody knows this, must have been a dead ball personal foul. So that would be 3 of those.
Here's a short kick. It's going to be fielded by Jack Jackson at about the 27-yard line, or that the flag came down after he crossed the goal line. I didn't think so. I thought we called the flag long before we got into the end zone. But
nevertheless, we've had looks like 3 penalties on our last 3 plays.
Yeah, we've been a little bit sloppy since we got the big lead. 40-7, Corbin on top. Clock continues to run, and to our knowledge, it will continue to run the rest of the game, no matter what the score is, because once the running clock starts, we've been told that will continue to happen. Corbin with their offensive starters back out on the field. 3 wideouts to the right now. That's the far side of the field. The short side of the field Thomas out here by himself. They motion Stevens out of the backfield. They throw long down the left sideline to Thomas. That's Tatum Cox, excuse me. Cox has got the catch, and he's behind the defense. 30, 20, 10. Touchdown, Corbin. An 73-yard touchdown to Tatum Cox from the left side, and a beautiful throw that time by Sammons, excuse me.
They went trips left and or trips right, receiver to the left, and Tatum just ran off and left him. Great throw by Mason and a good route by Tatum Cox.
Yeah, I thought that was Thomas. That'd been Thomas on this end all night long, and Tatum Cox, they slipped him in there, and he made a nice pattern, got behind the defense, and a perfect throw. That pass probably had a little more air under it, excuse me.
Yeah, he actually threw that beautifully. He's got a great arm. The kid really has a great arm. But just a nice touch and a great throw and catch by Tatum and Mason.
Witherington on to attempt the extra point. Sammons is the holder, snap down. Kick on the way, booms this one through. I'll tell you what, when he gets it right, it's really right. That one would have been good from about 40, 45 maybe. 7:10 to go. Clock continues to run. 47-7. Corbin on top. Hounds will be on the road next week at Great Crossings over in Scott County. Big school, a lot of athletes, I'm sure. I did have a look at who they played this week, and we didn't make it through our preview during the pregame. We'll try to see who Great Crossings plays here and maybe get some scores there. But North Laura was leading South the last we heard there, and that's one of the bigger games, I think, in southeastern Kentucky tonight.
Yeah, the last score we got on that was 14-3 North. I know there's a lot of people got a lot of interest in that, not just from a playoff or a district championship perspective, but just that rivalry that's building back between those two schools. Coach Johnny Hines back in town for coaching North, with a once very good coach at Pulaski County. Won a state championship there in 2014. Pulaski County also playing their rival this evening, Pulaski Southwest versus Pulaski.
Great Crossings is playing Campbell County tonight, by the way, at Campbell County. Don't know much about the Camels, but I don't think they're I've not seen their name rated very highly this year.
I would think that would be a win for Great Crossing, just based on what I've seen in the past.
Low ground ball kick up the middle, going to be taken by an up back at about the 30-yard line, makes it out to about the 35. Good coverage that time by the Corbin kicking team, and Perry Central will take over 1st and 10 from about the 35.
Well, Corbin coming in now. Looks like Caden Freeman. He's the new shirt in the game. Caden's played a lot this year. He's coming in to play some defensive line. Josh Goins still in the game. Linebackers are Marlowe, Akins, and Silas Mahan. In the secondary, Thomas Estep, Lucas Britton, a senior, and also Trey Persons.
So a lot of starters still out there. Marlowe in there now. I think you mentioned him too, Barley. He's got some really good minutes here the last few weeks.
And Dalton Henderson, that's Henderson, in at one of the defensive ends now. Lucas Hatfield, the other defensive end.
Handoff up the middle this time. Breaking into the secondary is going to be the running back. That is Johnson. He's going to get out there for a gain of about 8 before he's dragged up line. I thought that might have been a face mask, but it looked like he had a handful of jersey there just under the face mask.
Tyson Blaylock, a senior, he's logged some big minutes for Corbin. He's in at one of the defensive tackles. Dave, we've talked about him a few times. He brings a little quickness down in there. He doesn't quite have the size of Josh Goins or a Malachi Brown, but he's a very quick young guy. He's made some plays for Corbin.
He's got a pretty good motor, Burley. He plays really hard all the time.
He does.
They're really good special teams player as well. Handoff up the middle. Again, a big hole as the back gets through the into the Corbin secondary, down into Corbin territory over the 40. That is Johnson again, number 3, running very hard in there. He's been the most effective runner tonight. Not the leading ground gainer on the year for Perry Central, but Bryson Johnson, number 3, has been by far their best ball carrier.
Yeah, if you're going to give a Perry Central player of the game, Johnson would, without question, receive that. Now, that was just a good play by Perry Central. We still got most of our starters in there playing. We've subbed down some, but still mostly starters in the game.
Corbin on top, 47-7. Handoff up the middle again this time. Hitting the hole as Johnson fights forward. He breaks a couple tackles and gets inside the 35 to the 34-yard line. A gain of 5 again after he was hit probably a yard deep in the backfield.
Johnson still fighting. Clock still running. 47-7.
Yeah.
Is this what you thought it'd be, Dave?
You know, I actually thought would be a little closer than this early. But you know, Corbin scored. I think they scored so easily the first few times they got it that it kind of took the air out of Perry Central. I think Perry Central is by far the best team in the district other than Corbin, and and again, well coached. This team is. Mark Dixon does a good job. Pass off the left side is going to be caught out there. The quarterback took a shot. He's getting up slowly, but that pass complete to Miller out there enough to move the chains. First down, ran a nice pattern there. The big freshman fullback split out wide and picks up the first down. Yeah, pretty much what I thought it would be, Coach. But again, I'm like you, and I don't know how much of that we can contribute to just the fact that the game was decided early and we haven't played a competitive game in a few weeks. But I think next week's going to be a different story.
Absolutely. We'll have to play.
Perry Central driving, 1st and 10 from the Corbin 28. Handoff to Johnson again. Brian Johnson's hit at the line of scrimmage. Manages to lunge forward, gets it down to about the 25. Gain of 3 will bring up 2nd down and 7. And again, this moving clock is a game changer. We're down to minute 45 to go in the third right now. And each team's had the ball once.
Marlowe on the stop. Also Blaylock. Got another new player on that other end. No, that's Hatfield. I'm sorry, his jersey's just all wrinkled up.
47-7, Corbin on top, minute 25 to go in the third. Maggard's still the quarterback. Got Johnson to his right. 3 wide outs to the left. Maggard back to throw. Here comes the pressure. He steps up, fires in. It's going to be intercepted. Picked off back there at the 10-yard line. Up the left sideline goes Britton, and he's going to be hit and stepped out of bounds, I believe. He did at the 37-yard line. A beautiful play that time by Lucas Britton. Burley played that one perfectly. And as you mentioned so many times how those defensive backs bait the quarterback, he kind of baited him that time, stepped in front of the receiver and almost took that one. He's been close to 2 touchdowns tonight.
He made a veteran play. He saw the receiver. He, as you said, baited him a little bit and broke on the football. And had he had just a little bit more real estate, it might have taken that one all the way back for a touchdown. Lucas, another one of our fine seniors. We'll mention them again tonight. It is senior night, and what a contribution these young guys have made to the Corbin program. Matter of fact, let's do it right now. What do you think? Cam Estep, Lucas Britton, Eli Petrosky, Cole Stevens, been a nice little running back. Braxton Sima, Max Farmer. Max plays both ways, plays defensive tackle as well, some defensive end. Gavin Hinkle started all year. He's moved over to guard from center. Miles Marlowe, we've seen him make a couple big hits this year, Dave.
Yes, we have.
Jacob White and also Seth Jones. Seth been a starting offensive lineman now for a couple years.
Well, okay, the clock's going to go ahead and run out. Corbin and Perry Central just stayed at their sidelines there. They knew the clock was going to run out here before the next play was set to go. So it will be Corbin football when we return here. 3 quarters are in the books. Corbin on top 47-7. We've got a running clock here at Campbell Field. Stay with us. You're listening to Red Hound Football on T107.
One sip of tropical lime-flavored Mountain Dew Baja Blast will turn this into this. Your barbecue into a cabana, and your backyard into an island oasis. With a blast of tropical lime flavor, you can bring the beach vibes with you everywhere. Grab some friends and ice-cold Mountain Dew Baja Blast today. Do the Dew.
All right, back at Campbell Field, Lucas Britton with the interception. They said he stepped out at the 37-yard line. And so he will be, Corbin will be operating there. 1st down and 10. They hand it off on the jet sweep. Flags fly from everywhere. And running back for Corbin is going to be hit and dropped at about the 37. We got back to the original line of scrimmage. I think that might have been Jack Jackson. Was that number 5 there?
No, I think that's Brett Estep. It looks like 8 to me now. Could stand to be corrected.
I believe it's number 5.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Stand to be corrected.
Yeah, I believe it's number 5 there. And at any rate, it's all for naught because flags came in from everywhere. I think Perry Central is going to take the penalty. Yeah, it's going to be a procedure penalty against Corbin, a 5-yarder. So they will they'd rather have 1st and 15 than 2nd and 10. I don't know that I would have taken that penalty, but
I believe that is E-step, Dave. Jackson's a running back. So E-step in at quarterback, and a lot of new shirts.
But it's number 5, though, right?
No, he's number 8.
In the slot?
No, in the quarterback is number 8.
Yes, quarterback. But in the slot carrying the ball was Jackson.
Jackson, yes.
Yeah, that's number 5 there. He's in the slot now, too. Yeah, the quarterback is E-step. You're exactly right. Handoff straight up the gut this time. That is E-step on the quarterback keeper. He gets out over the 35. Yeah, we were saying the same thing. That was E-step carrying the ball from the jet sweep on the jet sweep prior to that, or not E-step. Excuse me, Jackson.
We'll try to pick up some of these names as we can. These light uniforms are not the easiest thing for these old guys, but we're going to see what we can do. 28-0 now, Johnson over Ashland, Johnson County, for real.
It also tells me that Ashland's pretty good, though.
Yes, yes.
I mean, you go to Johnson Central and you play them 28-0. That's that's respectable.
Oh, Ashland's had a good program for a long time. Let's see if I can pick up a few of these offensive linemen. We've mentioned Jack Jackson, Brady Step. Looks like the tackle on the right side is number 52, and that will be Tyson Blaylock. No, excuse me, that can't be Tyson Blaylock.
It's Carson Freeman and one of the wide receivers here on the right. E-step takes, going to run the option left side, pitches it. It's going to be put on the ground. The ball just a little bit behind the runner, and I think Corbin retained possession, but a big loss on the play.
Calvin Ellis was that lineman.
Can't tell if it was 38 Troglin or 39 Freeman at this wide receiver position over here on this end.
Looks like to me it's number 39, Carson Freeman. He's a linebacker. He's a freshman and a running back.
Hey, listen, these guys right now, they don't care what position is after
their
their
name.
name.
They just want to hit somebody.
They want to get out on the field. Yeah, used to it was, you getting your uniform dirty. Well, you don't get dirty in the turf,
No.
but you want to get in there and break a sweat anyway. So E-step the quarterback. Jackson, one running back to his left. I can't pick up the number of the running back to the right there, big kid. They hand off the same jet sweep to Jackson. He's going to be hit and stuck, piled up at the 32-yard line. Not much running room there for Jack.
Another freshman, Brennan Miller, also in the game. He's a defensive lineman, offensive line. Looks like they're going to turn it over on downs, and Corbin will come back with their defense.
I think they're going to punt it here on 4th and 14, I believe, Coach.
Oh, they are. They're putting you're right. They're putting first team punt team in, or punt receive in.
I do like how you like the gray on gray look.
Well, I think it's a real nice look, but I'm partial to the red at home with the Red Hounds. But it's a little almost Ohio State for my liking.
It is. I think it's a nice once or twice a year type of deal. But Persons is set to kick it away.
Corbin's first punt of the night.
2 returners back for Perry Central, standing about their own 35-yard line. Trey can get it over their head from there if he gets into one. Steps into it, lets it go. It's a pretty good kick. It's going to be fielded on the fly at the 35 by Johnson for Perry Central. Starts up the center of the field. Is going to be hit and piled up back at about the 34. Ran for a long time, only gained about a yard, and then was pushed back. That was Robinson, not Johnson. Tyler Robinson. 1st and 10 for Perry Central. Clock continues to run. 7:45 to go now in the game. Corbin on top, 47-7.
A lot of new players in the game. One of those, number 32, Braxton Simon. Number 37 over here is Xavier Beller. He's only a sophomore. Bryson Hopkins also in the game. We've seen him play some with the starters this year.
Yeah, he's
a special teams player for us.
Been in quite a bit, off and on throughout the year. Maggard, the quarterback, takes it, hands it off straight up to get to Johnson. Again, good little running back. He's got some room, powers it out all the way to the 45-yard line, running very hard in there. That's Cecil, number 22. He's his first carry of the game that I remember, Keegan Cecil. We'll move the chains for Perry Central. Perry Central's got all their starters still in the game.
Cameron Nance, one of the players for the Red Hounds on the stop. Playing linebacker now, my favorite name on the team, Louis Horvath, a junior.
Well, he's seen some action throughout the year as well. 1st and 10 for Perry Central. Maggard dumps it off on the left side. He's got Johnson out there. He's going to be hit and dropped. Makes the catch. He's the leading receiver in the game for Perry Central. He's got 4 catches on the night.
Yeah, I think I said this earlier, but if they were having a player game for Perry Central, it would be him. He's fought hard. He's a good high school football player.
Yep, he is for a fact.
Mark, with Coach Mark Dixon, Perry Central, he's a good coach. He was at Hazard for some years, had a lot of success there. He just don't have the numbers. If you look, they got 11 out there and maybe 11 or 12 on the sideline.
I think this is his first year there. Is that right?
I don't know if it's his first year, but he was at Hazard for quite some time.
Maggard takes the handoff, leaves it off first back through. That's going to be Johnson, and mouthpieces flew on that one. That's a pretty good lick out there. He got it out to the 45-yard line. Should be enough to move the chains depending on the spot.
I think it's going to be a face mask on Corbin.
That was Cecil again. Excuse me. I've called him Johnson twice. Keegan Cecil. It will be a penalty against Corbin. They will take Perry Central down inside. I think he's more inside the 40 to the 35-yard line.
A lot of new players in for Corbin. We saw a lot on offense and now several on defense.
Cecil to the right side. Of the quarterback, Maggard. Clock down to 5 minutes to go. Maggard back to throw. Ball fakes, fires for the end zone. Deep corner's got a man out there. Incomplete, and we're going to get a interference call against Corbin. I think that's a good call. He played the receiver, but he had his back to the ball, and there was some contact prior to the ball getting there. That was number 15 in Brody Hart in defense there, but in his defense, probably saved a touchdown.
He did. You got to get your head around, and I know that's what his dad's going to tell him when he gets home is a good place for him to get that head around. It's not a penalty. Brody, one of those promising freshmen we have. Our freshman sophomore class, very good, and mix in some of our fine juniors. The future looks pretty good for Corbin.
I think Brody bit on the pump fake there and then got himself behind the 8 ball a little bit early on. Hand off Cecil again, straight up the middle. He lowers his head and picks up 3 or 4 before he's pushed backwards.
Brody hard on stop.
2nd and 7 there. Second for Perry Central. Clock moving, 3:55 to go in the football game. Corbin on top, 47-7. We had a running clock based on a Cam Estep 70-yard punt return on the last play of the first half. That got the clock running, and been a very quick second half thus far. Maggard is still working at quarterback. Sets up, fires long for the end zone. Got a receiver out there. It's going to be caught. Touchdown. Johnson back there. I tell you what, that kid could play football, Burley. He's a nice player. Is that 7 or 6?
I can't tell. He's in that far corner. 6, I believe.
6. Okay, yeah, it's not Johnson. That was a nice throw. 8 rather. Excuse me. That's Tyler Robinson. It's number 8. In that far corner there, a nice throw that time, and Perry Central's on the board again, 47-13.
He put that ball in the air for about 40 yards.
Nice toss that time, yeah. Maggard's young. He's just a sophomore. The big running back, 33, is just a freshman. So there's some pieces to work with here for Coach Mark Dixon. Extra point attempt forthcoming for Perry Central. The snap is no good, and that play was botched from the get-go. Partially blocked by Corbin. It wasn't going to be any good anyway, and we will make a quick flip. We're just going to hold on to it right here during the break. They're going to run probably a minute off, trying to get these kids set up for the kick and kick off at the clock down to 2:25 to go. Obviously, Coach, some things to clean up for Corbin, but again, you get the easy win. Most importantly, you get out of here without, from what we can tell, any discernible injuries. And I don't think Corbin did anything tonight that will hinder their confidence and the improved play that they've had over the past month and a half.
The district champions, and that's your number one goal when you start out the year. Your number one goal, you like to win them all, and that way you know you're a district champion. But you want to win the district as they did. That gets you home for the playoffs. We'll try to clear that up as we learn more about it. A lot of football going on around the state, but yeah, I mean, you got a running clock the last 3 games. We as fans and armchair quarterbacks, we tend to want to pick on some stuff, but penalties is the big issue I see where we got to improve.
Low ground ball kick going to be taken by an upback. Is that Akins? Clay Akins picks the ball up. He's at the inside Perry County territory. He's going to take this back for a touchdown. Maybe he's pulled down from behind just as I said that, and it's a horse collar tackle at the 20-yard line. Clay Akins, the upback there, almost took that one to the house.
He's been very good on special teams, and we know he's caught some touchdown passes, made some big plays, but he's really a good special teams player.
He's just a good football player. You know, if this were a pickup game and you were just out there choosing up teams, he'd be one of the first guys picked.
Yeah, you'd be hard pressed not to pick him.
He can do anything. You know, he's pretty good anywhere you put him. Really good anywhere you put him. So he was jerked down at the 22. That should be a 10-yard penalty anyway, which Corbin's going to have a chance to run maybe one more play as this clock continues down. We're down to 40 seconds now, and they've not reset we're inside the time left on the play clock, so I'll be surprised if Corbin runs a play.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to let it end right where it is.
So Corbin on to Great Crossings next week. They'll finish up the regular season on the road, and it will be it'll be a test. A big school, a lot of good athletes. They started out. They had some good games, and again, the Ryle game is the one that I keep going back to in my mind. Ryle, a good football team. They played the pants off Highlands, and Ryle beat them a couple of touchdowns. So this will be a representative game at Great Crossings next week.
Oh, there's no question. We'll have to eliminate mistakes. We'll have to play in front of the chains. Play aggressive. The thing that I like about the Red Hounds, it seems like we're playing a lot more aggressive now. We're tackling better. We're playing downhill. I just kind of like where we're at as a football team. I think there's, if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid's going to go in and say, we got to still clean these things up. And the same thing for Corbin. We got to clean up some of the personal fouls. Penalties are penalties, but personal fouls are those are
choices.
Yeah, exactly. Those are not mistakes. You make that choice. So that, and then we got to get a little better on our extra point. Sebastian's had great rhythm this year. 2 of the misses tonight were blocked. You're missing it's one thing, getting it block's another, because you get it blocked, you don't have a chance to hit it or not make it. But I think if we continue to work toward those things, we're going to make a run here and see what we're made of. We will get a first round game at home, that is for sure, because we're going to finish 1. We'll play a 4 here. But it's on to Great Crossing. I hope our focus is there and not what's going on down the road, because if we do that, I'm really glad it's on the road other than having to travel. We need to get in an environment where it's not friendly, where you're going to have to play, and where it's tough.
Well, I think as Corbin's went on, in my mind, they've and you made mention of it indirectly tonight. There's more weapons being developed every game. We got, we spread those 4 wide receivers out, and I call those names every time. You got Akins, Thomas, E-Step, all those kids. I'm leaving one out. I don't mean to, but
Britton, and then you throw Trey Parsons,
Britton, Parsons, and those guys, and you're saying, pick your poison here, and then you got the Stevens kid who's averaging 8 yards a carry, and a quarterback who can run and throw it. So I mean, we're developing weapons as we go along down the season, and I think that bodes well.
And then Tayton Cox had a touchdown tonight.
Tayton Cox had a touchdown tonight. That's another young man who can certainly play. So no lack of firepower for Corbin. We saw it in the Johnson Central game. They came in here ranked number 1 and still ranked near the top in 4A
and deserved to be.
And we hang 34 points, and so there's a lot to feel good about at this point in the year. Corbin improves their record to 6-3 on the season. They'll try to finish up the regular season 7-3 next week at Great Crossings. Coach, any further thoughts on this one?
No, we'll just recap it all tomorrow, and we'll talk about some of the games that are going on tonight. The big score that we're paying attention to, obviously, is Johnson Central Ashland. That was 21-0 the last I heard. I thought Ashland might have a shot, and it's still, we had a running clock here, so there's still time to go there. But we'll take a look at the stuff around the state and see what it means.
Yeah, we will. We'll be on the air back again in the morning, 9 o'clock, right here on T1073 with the water cooler, our local sports show. We'll talk to Coach Sammons first thing in the morning, get about 20-25 minutes or so with him, let him tell us or share his thoughts about this game, tell us what's coming up as far as his plans for Great Crossing. We're also going to have a special guest the second half of the hour. We'll have Tim Barnes, president of Hometown Bank. He'll be in to talk to us a little bit about his experience as certainly a Red House supporter and as from his business standpoint, personally as well. I had a couple sons that played here. Corbin and Tim, a former college football player himself at Center College. So we got all that upcoming in the morning. We'd like to certainly thank all the listeners tonight. We appreciate all the folks that call in, and certainly Wendell Foley at home who keeps us up to date on the scores, Coach. That's a big deal.
Sure is. The north, south, Johnson Central, those are all because Wendell keeps up with it. And again, we're so grateful that he takes the time to do that for us.
Once again, our sponsors, thanks to Pepsi-Cola, Corbin, Tri-County Cycle Sales, Eubanks Electrical Supply, Smoky Bears Barbecue, Hometown Bank, and Sammy's Furniture. Had a chance to finish I frequent all these folks. Was drinking a Diet Pepsi here tonight, but we've got good friends at Tri-County Cycle Sales, Eric Hart, Eubanks Electrical. They're right in the middle of everything. Red Hound, Smoky Bears, a great place to go and eat. Frequented them just not too long ago. Hometown Bank is a place that you and I are both familiar with, and we'll get to talk to Tim tomorrow. But got a chance to visit our friends out there at Sammy's Furniture the other day. Did some business with those folks as well. Certainly appreciate all of our sponsors that make all this possible. So that's going to wrap things up from here. Corbin with the victory tonight. They go undefeated through district play. They are district champions. They will finish up the regular season next week at Great Crossings on the road. So we'll be on our air in the morning again at 9 o'clock. We'll talk to Coach Sammons then. So my buddy Burley Foley, I'm Dave Cox. James back at the station. Thanks so much for listening.